whatever this is.
Okay. Yeah, I have to take one, so if there's one more, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, there is.
There you go. And Ray, man, I think by the end of the night we always forget to tell you, so I want to tell you now, man. Thank you very much for always hosting us.
Yep.
Like not only do you freaking run everything and make sure everything goes smoothly, but and all that, and have the house and all, and clean up after us at the end of the night, and then you always have beer and shit. Like, dude, thank you. Just want to make sure that you know we appreciate you.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'll cry about it later. One more thing. Let's pop you out.
Oh yeah, we're getting fancy in this bitch.
Oh, look at the pour.
Oh, yeah. I like the cup choice. I love it when you guys decide to go fancy like that. I feel like my stuff's not wasting space.
Like we're in a bar.
I mean, that's what it's there
Oh,
for,
dude,
right?
seriously, I really want to get that setup going on, like the guy had at in what was that movie? The Neighborhood Watch.
What is that?
Neighborhood Watch. You didn't see it?
No.
It's got Ben Stiller, Vince Vaughn, Jonah Hill.
How old is it?
10 years?
Oh, okay.
Probably about 10 years.
Yeah.
Just
it's-
not one that I got then.
Oh, dude, watch it. It's
Yeah?
so funny. It's like, it's not a serious movie.
Well,
It's-
obviously, I mean, you read me the cast, I can tell.
yeah, it's really, really worth at least one watch, probably more than one. I like that movie a lot. When I first watched it, I was like, how did I miss this? How did I miss this movie?
Honestly,
I
the
love
comedy.
wild turn it takes and everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
What they're like looking for in the neighborhood, like just I don't want to spoil it.
Is your mic on?
Now it is.
Ah, there we go. I was like, man, I'm not hearing you through this at all.
Yeah, I got to
Will you toss this ring, please?
get you guys your foot pedals, but they're expensive because they have phantom power tied in. These mics all have phantom power.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just get like your run of the mill guitar type foot switch. It's got it like, and they're expensive. I also need to get your boom stand. It's expensive too.
Boom.
So you have the
Yeah,
freedom.
We'll have to win one of these
DraftKings.
These, yeah, the DraftKings lineups. You know what I
Do
mean?
better.
One
Do
of these,
better.
do
Do
one of
better,
these
guys.
tournaments, and then we'll have some money to play with. That'd be
Gotcha,
fun.
sponsor.
If my DraftKings lineups could be as fire as my waiver wire pickups and starts in our league of record,
Yeah. Now we've already said if we hit a big tournament, man, we're putting 5 or 10% into the show for fun. You know.
Real quick, you know how we talked about having like a listener league?
Yeah. I'm gonna start recording. Hold on.
I
Welcome,
would-
guys, to week 8.
Welcome everybody.
Hey,
So-
hey.
We're getting started kind of quickly here, so
Not
Go-
really.
go-
We're pretty late.
go right. I know that's why we're kind of going quickly. Go right into the listeners league that you were talking about.
Oh yeah, well, now it feels weird to say it on air, but yeah, we've been talking about.
Well,
doing-
we've been on air.
Yeah.
we just haven't been recording.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Anyway, the listener league, I think it'd be a good idea if we did a guillotine league because I've never got to do one of those before.
I've never done one, but they definitely look fun.
Yeah, they sound fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
and also, so the biggest thing is that not everybody, if you do like a 14 or 16 man league or something like that, not everybody's going to stay in it,
Right.
all the way.
Right.
But if you do a guillotine league,
It culls the herd naturally.
yes, exactly, as it goes along, the people that are still in it just become more interested because their team becomes more compelling week by week by week.
Oh yeah, it gets stronger.
Do you
What
know
is
how-
it about the guillotine?
Okay, so for those anybody listening who is not familiar with a guillotine league, the way that it works is you draft your team as normal at the beginning of the season, just like you do a regular redraft, whether you do it by auction or snake. And then at the end of each week, the team with the fewest points scored that week is eliminated,
Oh, damn.
and all of their players are put into the free agent pool.
Yeah. And there's a fab budget.
And there's a fab budget, so
Which
that's
is-
the biggest thing. The fab budget's huge, but you have to You know, you have to manage a fab
You have
budget.
to manage it,
Where
yep.
every single week it's like, I gotta have this guy, I gotta have that guy, I gotta have that guy. So you have to, and you have to manage stuff like that. And it's super interesting things happen. Like last year in the ESPN Guillotine League, the team that had Patrick Mahomes lost like 5 consecutive weeks. So the guy that whoever it was that picked up Patrick Mahomes
It's the
was,
curse.
it was really funny. So yeah, by the end of it, people weren't wanting to pick up Patrick Mahomes because they, you know,
Hilarious.
as you know, slam dunk as that sounds. So yeah, I think that would be fun.
I think it would be.
I think that'd be a
That
fun
sounds-
way to do
that
the
sounds
league.
great.
Does sound fun.
Especially if one of us gets eliminated. We got to just sit there and host it. Can't play in it.
One of us will, for sure. So, well, let's see. Homer Minute, I guess we can kind of breeze through a little bit.
Who's going
at
first?
least I can. I'm just not much has changed. We've got a rookie quarterback, and we're trying to slog through.
Yeah.
We've got Philly this week. It, you know,
Well, you guys
doesn't
had the
look
week
good.
off, right? Week 7. Did you? No,
No.
No, we did though.
you did.
Yeah, and I can if you're done with your minute.
we
I
have
can
next
go-
week.
Oh, that's right. You just took the week off against the Dolphins.
But we beat Tampa, so that might be like our
Everybody's
our
beating
calling
Tampa.
card for
It's
the.
your Super Bowl for the.
The year,
that's how
yeah.
you sell people on next year.
But
like when
no.
you're coming back for 2023, the highlights are going to be all from the Tampa game.
Actually, one thing I do want to say about my team, especially fantasy wise, is after our bye week coming up, you want to pick up our defense again. TJ Watt's coming back.
They're already getting better.
We're healing. We're healing up, and yeah, even with our secondary still beat up and everything, we are definitely
Mm-hmm.
looking a lot better. So keep an eye on that Pittsburgh defense. But yeah, that's it for me.
Over in Dallas, the Cowboys shocked me with like how they were able to limit the Rams and just how they were able to get to Goff because not
Detroit.
against Detroit, yeah. Because that Detroit offensive line is really good. They've been really good, and the
You
reason
never glitch
the
either.
reason
That's funny.
that Goff has been so good this year is because he's had time. You know, he's been able to stand back there and pick and choose who he wants to throw the ball to, and there were some really amazing plays in that game. The sack fumble by Sam Williams, the rookie, where he just took the ball away from Jared Goff. It looked like Jared Goff didn't know where the ball went.
I did see that highlight. Yeah.
It's just like
And yeah. The defense is just, and again, you know, Micah Parsons all over the place. So the play I want to make sure to talk about is the play of the game was the fumble by Jamal Williams at the goal line. Because if they punch it in right there, I think they're down 3. If I'm not mistaken, I'd have to go back and look. It was something like that. They were close. They were going to be close. The game was going to be really tight. And instead they fumble. The play before that play was like I think it was just like a tight end had. I don't think it was a tight end screen, but it was something similar to that. It was kind of a quick toss to a tight end outside. Micah Parsons was rushing the passer. He turns around and chases down that tight end and pulled him down at the half-yard line. It was originally called a touchdown,
Okay.
but he chased him down and tackled him at the half-yard line and gave them the opportunity to
get
make
the fumble,
to
yeah.
make the play of the game. Yeah, and then Trayvon Diggs also got involved and had another interception on
Yeah,
it,
I
on a
just,
50-50
like,
ball deep.
Your
It's just-
defense is amazing.
They're so
just-
good.
They're great.
They're so good.
They're absolutely
And
fantastic.
and they just keep seeming like I was talking about Sam Williams. He's a rookie, so they just keep adding to it. It's really fun right now.
I will say your offense.
We don't need to talk
looks
about
like
the
it's going to
offense.
sputter for
There's
a couple
no
of
reason
weeks
to talk
here.
about the offense
Yeah.
when the defense is this good.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
and I will say I think that the offense is going to purposely take a step back. I mean, they've been
Just don't
winning.
mess it up.
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
been winning with Cooper
Yeah.
Rush for a
Yeah.
reason because that
Dak
defense
said
is
that.
so amazing.
Dak said, I watched how the team was playing with Cooper Rush. And I got to make sure I come in
Yeah, my number one thing is
and
to not turn over the ball.
and not mess with the flow. Is something like that is what he said. But their offensive line is playing well. I thought I'm really disappointed in Zeke getting hurt in the game because I was disappointed. So after hearing what Dak said about wanting to continue how they were playing, I wouldn't have been so bullish on Zeke's numbers going like through the roof for the next few weeks because I really was expecting him to be able to get a couple more catches. And when they're coming from Dak, for him to be in better position to do something with it after he catches the ball. So I was, and if Zeke catches the 3 passes for 20 yards a game, that's 5 points.
Right.
And that's a big deal when you're expecting him to score week in, week out against these, softer matchups. It was disappointing to see him get hurt though because he looked really good. And then even after he got hurt, he hurdled a guy.
Yeah, I saw that.
He still looks good.
Yeah, he's going to be out this week. And
He's
I think
never
that's
been
it.
as fast as Tony Pollard is. Tony Pollard is fast. Zeke is, he's always been a good straight line runner, but never been as quick as Tony Pollard is.
Right.
And excited to see what's going to happen this weekend with Tony Pollard actually getting, probably a full workload because Zeke's probably not going to play.
Yeah.
He'll want to.
I don't think it's the huge play that people are starting to like. I'm hearing people like slamming him into their DFS lineups and this and that. And, I wouldn't mind having him in a tournament lineup here and there, but like that's not somebody I want to have in my cash lineup. That's like a little too volatile for me. That's going to come later, but DFS at the end of the show, by the way. Guys.
he's all DFS.
I'm ready.
Right now.
Yeah, well, I am kind of DFS oriented, I will admit.
I'm feeling a little bit more confident like this week about a lot of stuff regards to football, which usually means it's like going to be a bad week.
You're
for
screwed.
me. Yeah.
You guys had the week off, so there's not a whole lot to talk about
Well, I mean, in DraftKings in general, just
in
like
Rams Kingdom.
the only thing that really to talk about in Rams is going forward into the Niners game. I feel more confident in this game than I have in past seasons. I'm obviously going to pick them to win, but not just as a homer pick. I think this is going to be the game they finally break that season or seasons long can't beat the Niners in the regular season. I think it's going to happen this Sunday against the Niners. Yep.
Good chance.
All right.
Good chance.
So, are we ready to get into the games?
Sure. First up.
Well, I do owe one shot for what was it?
Yes, you do.
Oh yes, we were betting on
Mr.
McCaffrey's
Bet against
touches.
Yeah, bet against Christian McCaffrey having 10 touches.
The line was 10, and he hit exactly
he
10.
got.
And I think this is
himself
like the
10.
third bet this year. Like we've had one of those bets, and you've hit the line exactly. And I'm just like,
Well,
all right, whatever.
when you know what you're talking about.
Better lucky than good.
Okay.
Is that with the targets?
That's true though.
Is that with the targets?
That is not a untrue statement, huh?
Is that with the targets?
No, that was touches.
Straight run?
Yeah, so he had 8 carries and he had 2 catches.
Right. So that's with him getting targeted. He got.
But that wasn't targets. That was catches. So we said that it had to be touches. He had to have the ball.
Gotcha.
And then the other one was there was a caveat if if Mark Andrews didn't play, which he basically didn't last week.
Right.
He had 1 carry for 2 yards. So he gave me 0.2 fantasy points.
Very nice.
If he didn't play Isaiah Likely versus Foster Moreau, but that one didn't materialize. So we'll just forget about it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Move on. Well, I'm sure we'll find a better two for this.
So
week.
should we check in on our season longs?
Oh, if you guys want to, you can tell the listeners how much I'm winning by.
While you guys are doing that, you want to pass me a beer? A regular one? A very regular guy beer.
Lazard got hurt, so.
Oh, you're saying season long bets? I thought you meant the season long picks.
Oh, the picks. No. Well,
But the bets are kind of actually interesting. I was just looking at them.
and the picks tightened up a little bit. Like you gained 1 on me, but you lost 1 on Ray. You lost 2 on Ray. One on Ray.
Like I said, it's too much to get into right now, and I think that's something we should really start getting into at the end of the season. Right now, it's kind of mid-season; it's hard to say. I just say all the bets are in play.
Yeah.
I think all
Sure,
of them are in
I
play.
think they are.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
maybe.
So,
Yeah,
good bets.
they're fun.
Yeah,
They
I
look
love
fun
those.
right now. Yeah.
Come on, Terry McLaurin.
You know what? The other one that's still not on there though is our one from preseason, the off season, the Robinson versus OBJ. Allen Robinson versus.
Oh yeah,
Odell.
gotta find that one. Gotta dig that one out.
Yeah, but that belongs up on the season long board because you're on Robinson and I'm on OBJ.
Okay.
And this is before they signed Allen Robinson. In Los Angeles.
All right, cool. I'll put that up there so we don't forget.
All right, moving on to
Yawning.
the games.
Yawning.
We got the Broncos at the Jags. Denver Broncos at +2. Over under at 40.5. The money line at +110 for the Broncos, -130 for the Jags.
Easily
Go.
the worst game on the slate. So I'm glad that we're getting it out of the way first. It's in London.
Take the under.
I kind of want to take. I want to take the over. Actually,
Wow.
I think it's going to be a goofy game
and that does happen sometimes in London.
because the defenses just play worse. That is typically what happens in London. But what we've gotten used to is the offense has been inept. But usually that is a Jacksonville offense that can't do anything. And now we're in Travis Etienne season. So we expect
I'm
He did
curious
look
to
good.
know how many of the Broncos games hit the over.
not any.
was
I
gonna
don't
say.
think.
I'd have to look it up to be sure, but
curious
most of
about
them
it.
are under. I guarantee.
Yeah, like I'm just kind of gambling on the idea that this is going to be a wacky London game. I'm hoping that that's what happens because I'm going to get up at 6:30 in the morning and watch it. So I want to see.
Don't you have to have a special subscription on this one? It was some like network I'd never heard of. I was just like, what the hell?
Do you really?
Yeah, I looked up how to stream it in the morning, and it's on something funky.
No, I've never. I haven't. No,
Yeah,
I'm
check it
not
out.
sure.
You're not going to be able to watch it unless you sign up for this funky network and just pay $5.99 a month or whatever it is.
Peacock.
No, like one I'd never heard of. It's like Fobo or something.
A lot of
I don't
people
know.
haven't. Fubo.
Might be Fubu.
Fubo TV. That's interesting to know. We should. Yeah.
We'll look it up while you guys
Definitely
discuss
need to know.
fantasy picks.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Oh, we're done. No.
God, I love having a producer, man.
No, yeah. So
Hey, look this up.
as far as fantasy is concerned, like this is a minus matchup for people who were playing Zay Jones and playing Christian Kirk. Like if you have ways to pivot in a 2 receiver league, definitely you should, and even in a 3 receiver league, you probably should pivot to somebody besides Christian Kirk and or Zay Jones. And then on the other side, you're still
Sutton.
you're gonna play and Judy too.
I wouldn't.
Judy had a great game last week.
Okay,
NFL is
but-
displaying
And
it on ESPN.
that was one
Plus.
of my calls that I
okay. Never mind. ESPN Plus, still something.
when
I
I
don't have,
re-listened to it, I was really happy about my call about Jerry Jeudy last week. 'Cause, Brett Rippon definitely was looking for Jerry Jeudy first. We expect Russell Wilson to play, so there's that.
Right.
He might not have gotten enough stretching done on the plane. I'm not sure.
enough high steps.
Yeah. You'd have to talk to his teammates.
Right. If we're
Find
trying
out-
to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find out if he got in enough exercise during the flight or not.
What a kooky guy.
Kooky. That's a nice word for it. That's a really nice word for it. Like,
That's funny.
you know what? I'm pretty sure I've seen a movie where a guy got tied to a bed and beaten with a sack full of.
Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah. And I imagine that's like what some of his teammates wanted to do to him.
Yeah, I can see that.
While that was going on.
For sure. But Broncos, like running back, is there any running back you want to mess with right now?
I told
for
you
the
3
Broncos?
weeks ago. I told
Yeah.
you last night. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I really don't. It's bad.
And then Jags, ETN looks great.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, this matchup, he's going to be diminished.
That one, I'm really happy about that call too. Is because I anybody who listened and was like, yeah, I'll take a flyer on ETN and just like watch and see what happens. Is just so happy. Like if you were
Absolutely.
listening.
Yeah, beyond
3 weeks
expectations,
ago.
that's for sure.
Yeah, and I'm not super excited about him because I don't have him in enough places, and I'm
Right.
I'm in our league of record. I'm playing against him, so it's gonna be a rough week for me. I think it's gonna be a rough.
Well,
week
like I
for me.
say, I think this week he's gonna he's not scoring too much, but unless your wacky prediction is correct. But who you taking? here?
I still think he's gonna get enough work to do it. I think he's getting.
Okay.
And as far as picking the game,
Yeah, we got 20 seconds here.
I gotta take the Broncos, and I don't like it. No, I don't like it. And if I feel bad, it feels dirty. So I'm picking
I'm
Broncos.
taking the Jags, man. They're at home. London is
They
their
are
home.
yes, they are at home in London.
They are comfortable over there. They know how to travel over there. Like,
That so the Denver defense is better than the Jacksonville defense,
agreed.
and I just have a little more confidence in Russell Wilson and his weapons versus the Jacksonville defense than I do Trevor Lawrence and his weapons versus the
I had all
Broncos
kinds of
defense.
confidence in Russell before the season. Now I'm just like, what the heck's going on? So,
Yeah, I'm not sure where that confidence is coming from.
yeah.
says the Rams fan. Anyway,
All right.
What's that have to do with Russell Wilson?
And then Ray,
he
you,
took
Other
took
than I
Jags
probably
with me?
watched that guy play so much. Huh?
You took the Jags with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, until the Broncos can show
oh
me.
cool! I get to lone wolf on
Yeah.
I get to lone wolf on Dangerous.
The London game.
Awesome.
The
This is awesome.
Dangerous.
We get to start the morning while watching a lone wolf game.
Enjoy.
All right. Next up, we got Carolina at the Falcons. Carolina's at +4.5. Over unders at 41. +175 if you're betting on the Panthers, and -205 if you're betting on the Falcons.
So the Panthers are 2-5, and the Falcons are 3-4. And the winner of this game will be in first place of the
love
NFC
that.
South.
I love that. That's so funny.
Yeah, because of tiebreakers. And Carolina has beaten Tampa Bay.
Yep.
So that is hilarious. Once you get past that, important thing to know is Chuba Hubbard is not going to play this weekend. So Deontay Foreman becomes a smash.
Yes, sir. Sorry, I'm
Smash.
happy about that. I picked him up in Dynasty like the week before.
I have him too. I have him
too. Just like,
Anyway, yeah, I have him in my Dynasty League, so I'll be playing him over Zeke. And I'm like, yes.
I mean, he's just gonna get all the work.
Yeah. So just don't get hurt, dude.
Yeah.
And there's a rookie. Is it, like when you get to this part of the season, like players just start to go down. Like there's a reason these guys are backups, and it's a lot of times it's because they can't stay healthy when you give them
Right.
too much work. So whenever you start to go down the ladder on the depth chart, I think it's a good idea to make sure that you keep going down the ladder and looking and making sure that the other players are getting some light too. And I think they have what's his name, Snoop Connor. Is that no? That's the Jacksonville running back. There's a running back, Blackshear. That's his name. Sorry.
Okay.
He's a rookie.
Yeah, going deep.
I'm just like he's someone to know, because like if Deontay Foreman gets hurt in this game, Blackshear is going to be the guy that ends up with like 18 carries, some number of yards, and a touchdown, and people are going to be fighting over him next week.
Yeah. See, when it gets
So-
to that level of talent, I stop fighting. You know what I mean? Like Deontay Foreman, it's like
I stopped fighting.
Like
that's
that-
not
that's the bottom level of talent.
That's
Like,
not,
okay,
that's
he's
not,
getting
that's-
so
that's
much
not,
opportunity.
That's not true. Like because it just depends on your situation. It really
Well,
it
yeah.
really depends on your situation. And
Always, but-
and I mean that's this guy is starting Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, and Ken Walker in our league of record this weekend.
I'm a little spoiled.
So he's like Deontay Foreman, his backup. Oh my God, I'm not even
No,
So that
wouldn't
and that,
touch him with
and
a 10
so
football.
yeah, and so there's a lot of people like that. They're like, yeah, I'm not touching that either. But there's also a lot of people who like.
Just need something.
Just like they started, Benjamin the last couple of weeks,
Right.
And they need something new.
What is
you
the
know?
word on Connor, by the way?
Him and Daryl Williams are both back at
They are back
practice
for
this
sure.
week.
Okay.
They were back at practice on Wednesday.
Okay.
So I shipped Benjamin back to the waiver wire.
I
and all,
thought so.
and all
I
the
thought I
leagues.
saw that.
Yeah.
So,
And everybody else should too. The Benjamin train is on pause for now. It's run out of coal.
well, back to the Atlanta game here, though. Like, Atlanta running backs, is there anybody you want to start here?
Oh yeah,
in regular
Algier.
fantasy?
I think
Yeah?
Algier. And I am in our league of record, but I honestly do think Tyler Algier is going to have a good game.
Is he a good flex play, or is he a desperation flex play? Or?
And I think if he scores a touchdown, he's a really good play.
Well, I mean, duh, but but what are the chances?
Pretty good
Yeah,
because they run the ball all the time, and like they run the ball all the time and they move the
you
ball.
like that one, huh?
So, and Carolina, isn't the stiffest defense. So they're at home. I like
Tell
his
that to
chances
Tom
to score.
Brady.
The only thing is he's just not going to catch very many passes. I like him for 70+ yards and a touchdown though. So I think he's a solid flex play.
Okay.
Low RB2, solid flex.
And just so you get
And
another
then-
point of view, I would be way more nervous about
the impo-
anybody in the Atlanta backfield. Honestly, anyone on the Atlanta team. Like I'm just.
I'm
not
only nervous
starting
about the receivers.
anybody.
Both of the running backs are getting 10+ carries the last
for
4
sure,
weeks.
for sure.
So, so I think that either one of them is, if you're in a bad spot, because of buys, and so buys, injuries. There was a lot of injuries this week, and you never know how that hits people. That could be fine. And then the last thing on the other side is it's finally DJ Moore time.
Yeah.
It is finally DJ Moore time. They get him into your lineup everywhere. It's time.
Okay, I would say you can get him into your lineup. I wouldn't. I'd want another week to be sure. I kind of
They were forcing the ball in his hands.
Okay, but like
And
your
I didn't
defenses
and I didn't
adjust,
expect him to have a great game against Tampa Bay, and that touchdown catch was just
Oh yeah,
chef's kiss, man.
it looked good.
Yeah,
he is a great receiver. We know that.
He looked like he looked like he knew he was the focal point of the offense.
Yeah.
and that's the key to me. So I'm not saying he's going to score 20+ points every week, but I expect 15.
So who do you like in the game?
I like the Falcons at home. I think this game is really interesting. I think it's gonna be fun to watch. I'm looking
I
forward.
don't know about
to
fun to watch, but it's
I think-
definitely going to be interesting.
I think it is going to be fun to watch because I think so. Atlanta they're fun to watch when they're busting off chunk plays. It is fun to watch, when they're running for 10, running for 12, over and over and over again. And I think they'll be able to do that against Carolina. So I actually think they'll be able to score points. I think this is a game that's going to hit the over. Sorry, we can go into the next game now.
Well,
Okay, so
we haven't picked yet though, Ray. Who do you like?
Falcons. I didn't hear your pick.
I'm going to take Carolina.
Okay.
he's going to lone wolf
That's
on the
why.
Panthers.
That's why I was like, throwing it out there, guys. Like, I
He's got a
like.
lone wolf on PJ.
I know it's PJ, but hey, he beat out Baker, man.
I said this before. We joked about it, but Laviska Shenault is interesting, and Terrace Marshall is interesting. Those are two interesting names to know for Carolina.
All right. So
Deep leagues.
moving on to
Mm-hmm.
YouTube questions. What
Oh, hey,
Busy's
cool.
back.
What a busy!
He's got
up,
a
buddy?
running back problem. He's got too many he's got too many running backs, not enough wide receivers. Algier is on the bench, starring CMC, Damian Pierce, and Etienne
Yeah,
as a flex.
That feels good.
starting. I'm not sure if there's a question in there, but maybe he'll elaborate after.
That
this.
doesn't sound like he has a running back problem at all.
Yeah, I love your running backs. How bad are your receivers, bud? Like, they can't be that bad, can they? You're listening to us.
So, so we're waiting for him to formulate a question. We'll go ahead and start with the next game. We got Chicago's at the Cowboys.
The Staleys, the Chicago Staleys.
Bears are at +10. The over/under is at 42.5. If you're betting on the Bears, that's a +330, and if you're betting on the Cowboys, -410.
Okay, we talked about a lot of this earlier with especially on the Cowboys side. Sorry, jumped the gun there, but I think this is going to be a defensive game. Like, I'm not super excited to be starting a lot of fantasy pieces in this game. There's definitely some startable pieces, but man, like, this isn't the game I'm looking to target. The Cowboys defense, as we talked about, is way too good, and their offense is finding themselves right now.
I think, and they're going to find themselves eventually. Mm-hmm. And I think this is a good time to do it. I think if you see the Cowboys get up by like 10 in this game, you might see them actually open up and take some shots, because the Bears aren't a team that's really going to threaten them if they're once they're down by 2 scores. So you might see them open up the playbook here and there and not play so conservatively. It's because it's just a little different when you're playing against teams like the Lions and the Eagles and stuff like that. Your
And I'll
margin
say-
for error is so slim, which
I'm
sounds funny
nervous
to say
about
about the
Pollard.
1-5 Lions, but
I'm nervous about Pollard.
I am not. I've watched him a lot. Just got to see him in person. He looks.
You think he can handle the load on his own, though? I mean, he seems like an excellent complementary
So
running back.
you know what I'll tell you is that I like the guy behind him. His name is Malik Jackson.
Okay.
He got to do some work in the preseason, and I don't think that Tony Pollard will necessarily do all of the work. even if Zeke doesn't play. I think
That makes sense to me.
both of these guys. So both of the guys were active. They're third and fourth running backs last week. It's Rico Dowdle, who got injured, and Malik Jackson were both active last week. If they activate him again, I know they have to give him a contract. They have to keep him on the active roster, or somebody else could sign him away. So they might not want to do that. We'll see what happens.
But fantasy-wise, nobody to get other than Pollard.
No, just people to know.
Okay, well, interesting. Chicago side, it's hard to know what to do with those running backs right now.
Yeah.
It seems like they're almost 50-50 at this point.
Herbert looks awesome, but they just
Montgomery looks solid too, though.
Yeah.
Like it's not like it looks like a 50-50 backfield there, which just isn't going to make anybody happy. So if you've got one of those two,
it feels like the Patriots backfield before they started leaning towards Ramondre.
yeah. And now that Damien's getting healthy, what's going to happen there? Is it going to go back to where it was before? It might.
I don't think so.
It might.
Because Ramondre is the one that'll catch the ball.
Yeah.
So from what I hear,
But Damien will be the touchdown boy.
from what I understand, the only person that people are worried about is Ty Montgomery coming back, because he could be the third down back, and if he takes third downs away from Ramondre, that could eat into a bunch of his production.
And they do like doing that.
And they like to spread things around. They like, that's just the Patriots. That's how they are. But
Sorry, back to this game.
Back to the Cowboys
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
This game's we talked to the Bears being like the Patriots,
Right.
And it's
And-
gonna break down the same way, where you just you probably starting both of them. Like you can probably
Not this week. I wouldn't want to start anybody from Chicago this week if you can help it.
Oh no,
you
not
can
this week.
help
I'm
it,
just saying in general.
starting nobody.
No, and this week the Bears might not score any points.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love the Cowboys in this game, and it's certainly not because of their offense. I think this is going to hit the under, but I also think the Cowboys are going to win by 10.
The defense
So,
is ferocious.
Yeah. They're just that good.
They're having so much fun.
Yeah.
Like they're killing people.
Okay.
They mauled the Lions.
Back to YouTube questions.
Oh, nice.
My wide receivers are Sutton, Metcalf, Boyd, Olave. Which two do I start?
Lave for sure. Lave's got an excellent
I-
week this week.
What
What was the third receiver?
Boyd? I was who I would
Oh,
start.
Boyd, yeah.
So
yeah,
his others were Sutton and Metcalf. Metcalf's probably not going to play.
exactly.
And then you hope he doesn't play. You'd rather him sit if you're the Metcalf owner. And then Sutton is he has Russell Wilson throwing the ball. So
Yeah,
he's
in
got
London.
that. In London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And London hitting that under.
And like I say, Boyd is whenever it's just been Boyd
I
and
heard-
one of the other receivers,
Yeah.
he's like
He-
that's a thing, man. I've been paying attention because I've got him in Dynasty, and whenever one of those two main receivers are down, I throw him into my Dynasty lineup
Yes.
right away. So I love Boyd there, and I love
Agreed.
love it, dude. You've got a sweet little team, man. You must have a good record. Mm-hmm. I should hope you deserve one.
So next up, we have Dolphins at the Lions. We get the Dolphins at -3.5 with the over/under at 51.5.
Oh, we all picked the Cowboys, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're betting on the Dolphins, -180, and if you're betting on the Lions, +155. So it takes me about 20 seconds to get to that spill, huh?
This is one of my fantasy games of the week. I feel like this is just going to be a big.
A lot of my tournament picks from DraftKings
agree.
is on this one.
Agreed.
Well, this is one of the games that you want your tournament picks to be in. It feels like there's going to be a lot of points scored here. Miami, that offense is really starting to look potent. Tua is developing some rapport with those receivers. They didn't do a ton against Pittsburgh last week. They had an excellent first quarter, and then they kind of got shut down after that. So if you're a Dolphins guy, that might have you a little bit concerned. But against the Lions, I just don't think that's a concern at all. So with Miami, they're going to be scoring points, and then you look at Detroit on the other side, and it feels like they're going to be scoring points too. Goff is one of those guys that he's definitely hitting my streaming. He's one of my streamers for the week. Couple of my leagues, I've got Goff going. I think he's going to have a great week. St. Brown is going to have a good week.
DeAndre Swift is a full participant in practice this week.
DeAndre Swift is back. So if you do have Jamal Williams, it's time to sit him. But
Maybe.
Yeah,
'Cause
you
was
could
he was
even start him in the
that's-
flex if you needed to.
That's probably the biggest question of this week. Is that now that in this game, is that now that DeAndre Swift is back, do you sit Jamal Williams? And like I don't know because it really feels like an Aaron Jones Jamal Williams situation all over again.
Yeah, you can play him if you needed to.
Where again, Jamal Williams is the less explosive of the two.
Yes.
You know, Aaron Jones was the more explosive guy, but Jamal Williams just kept getting work and he just kept finding ways to score. So he gets enough work. They like him enough that if you've been riding him, I think you probably still just ride him. I don't think you get scared off by DeAndre Swift being back. I think if anything,
Jamal Williams is one of those guys that
I think if anything, Jamal Williams suffered as much as anybody else that DeAndre Swift was gone. Because
he had some good games when Swift was gone. There was two that were just like, ooh. The first one for sure, because
the first one
it was
against
great.
Seattle.
Okay.
But that game was good for everybody. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, but I think that was the only one.
I thought there was one more, but anyway, not important. All I'm saying is that if you have Jamal Williams and you've been starting him, you might have a better option.
I wouldn't.
He's normally a bench guy for you, so just take a look around and know that Swift is back. But what I really want to talk about is Mostert on the other side, because Mostert is somebody that I am excited about this week. With the Detroit Lions D, Mostert's been getting the vast majority of carries for Miami. They spread out the defense for Miami does with those amazing receivers on the outside, and then you've got your track star going up the middle, and he's been looking good. And I think he's going to look. This is going to be a great game for him.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch this game.
Are you excited about Mostert?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I absolutely. I looked at his schedule upcoming, and it's Mostert season. I picked up Chase Edmonds in our league of record because with as much as Miami is giving him the ball, you just kind of expect Mostert to break because he always does. And
it's a matter of when.
And he's 31 now, so. But
ride him while you can.
Ride him while you can, and the matchups are amazing for like the next 6 weeks, something like that, all the way up until their bye.
So we all going on the Dolphins on this one?
Yeah, I am.
I am not.
Very nice.
I'm going to take the Lions to get off the schneid in this one.
Okay. Spicy.
Wow, Ken with all the Lone Wolf games. Next up, we have the Cardinals at the Vikings. Cardinals at plus 3.5. The over/under at 49. If you're betting on the Cardinals, you're at plus 160. If you're betting on the Vikings, minus 190.
And to me, there's 3 big DFS games this week, and this is number 2. Yeah. This is the second one.
This is
I expect a lot of points to be scored in this one again. I really like the Vikings side.
A lot of PPR points to be scored in this one.
Yes. And the Vikings side of the ball looks very intriguing to me. At home against that porous Arizona D, I just feel like start everybody. Irv Smith is my start of the week.
Me too,
I'm starting him everywhere in DFS. Most of my if any of my leagues where I'm streaming tight ends, I've got him.
Okay, let's take a pause real quick because we didn't talk about this during
Ken's taking a timeout.
The Carolina Atlanta game.
Time to grab a beer.
It's time to put Kyle Pitts on the bench.
It's been time.
I don't know if it's been time. He should have scored a touchdown in the Bengals game. He caught a ball. It was originally it was it was called a touchdown, and when they went back and looked at it, they decided it wasn't a touchdown. But he caught the ball at the goal line and bobbled it. And when he regained possession of it, he was at the half-yard line or 1-yard line.
Right.
And so no touchdown. So he looks a lot better if that happens. That being said, they're just not throwing the ball enough. So you really need to wait for he just needs to be on the bench until they start throwing the ball a little more. once they start if they ever start throwing the ball a little more, if that ever happens, him and Drake London, instantly become good starts again. But I just don't know when that's going to be. So
Next year.
if you're somebody who is the Kyle Pitts manager,
Next year.
it's time to put him on the
I'm
bench,
serious.
and it's time to start streaming tight ends. And the one you want to do that this week with is Irv Smith, bringing us back to our game and time in.
And let's honestly, everybody on the Vikings side, Adam Thielen is a really good start.
There's a lot of
the number
smash
2
DFS plays.
Yes,
I think
totally
a
agree
lot of
there.
smash DFS plays in this game from the Viking side.
Yes. Well, and I want to bring that up one more time. Like Viking side, the Irv Smith is a big one, and Thielen is a big one because the number 2 wide receiver against the Arizona Cardinals tends to go off.
Yeah.
So I expect Adam Thielen to have at least 1 touchdown this week. I'd be shocked if he doesn't.
Shocked, I say. So I think it's based on what we've seen people do to the Cardinals. I think this is going to be a good game for Dalvin Cook too.
Yeah.
He's been really weird. He's been super efficient. He's been much more like Alvin Kamara minus the catches the last few weeks.
Right.
Yeah, his snap percentage is really bizarre. He's like hovering the 60% range now. But he's just been super efficient.
Yeah, he's great when he's in the game.
Yeah, he's just getting it done, and maybe that's better for him. Maybe he's got more.
Maybe
juice,
they're just managing his workload this year.
Yeah. And then so on the other side, I think it's DeAndre Hopkins, and obviously you're going to start Kyler Murray, and then that's pretty much it. Because I think the running back room has gotten a little messy because I think Benjamin and Ingram both did enough to be they deserve some plays.
And
for,
Connor,
here
even
and
before
there.
he got hurt, Connor wasn't looking great.
No, Connor wasn't looking that great, but also Darrell Williams is back too. So it's just now I don't know exactly who they're gonna suit up.
It's going to spread. That
this
ball's
week.
going to get spread around.
Yeah, we don't know what's gonna happen. So I would really like to not start any of the Cardinals running backs, but if I was gonna start one, it would probably be Connor.
Right. And then besides Hopkins,
Nope.
Ertz.
Yeah.
And then if you're super desperate or going DFS, Rondell Moore.
I don't. Man. I don't like
Probably just try to stay away from that. But if you want to,
it. No Robbie Anderson. No Greg Dortch. I don't.
No, for sure.
So you guys feel like it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I don't hear much confidence in the players themselves.
On the Vikings side, we have a lot of confidence, and the Cardinals are just kind of by hook or by crook. They just seem,
They're
seem to hang
gonna
around.
score,
They hang around in games somehow. The exception of the Chiefs game, they've just kind of been in every game that they've played.
Hookers.
So, and Hopkins looks awesome. That he looks great.
Yep. Ready to go. So
I almost picked Thielen, but he hasn't been a producer this season.
He's
for fantasy points. So it's
his
He's been
numbers
decent.
His numbers are atrocious.
no,
honestly.
I
they're
have
not
him,
atrocious.
I have him. On,
He's averaging under 10 yards a
Yeah,
catch.
I have him in our league.
If he doesn't score touchdowns for you this year, he's bad. But I mean,
that's every year.
That's been that's not. It's been the last 2 or 3 years.
Right.
But the thing is he's not scoring touchdowns this year.
Are we all picking Vikings on this one?
I am.
Yes,
Okay.
all on the Vikings.
Oh,
Well, I'm just in our league, he's been in there 6 weeks, and 3 of the 6 weeks are 15, 15, and 18. Okay, the other 3 are 6, 9, and 6.
terrible.
So anyway, I'm just saying that's
Terrible, dude.
That's somebody you want to have as your number 3 wide receiver on your bench. That's somebody you want on your team.
Yeah, I know, but you just counted points. But what did he actually do? And what's his high total for receiving yards for the season?
Oh yeah, that's just
50?
that's not who Thielen is. If you're counting that,
He
then that's-
used to be able to. He used
Okay.
to be a guy who could be 9 catches, 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
If you don't know, that's not Thielen anymore.
It's not.
But
It's not.
But he
But
can
that's my
get
point.
6 catches,
It's he's-
60 yards,
he-
and
now,
2
right now-
touchdowns.
you know what he is right now? He's Allen Robinson
No,
I've got
what an insult!
I've got both those guys.
for the Vikings. It's just he's a little
don't
more
have Allen
comfortable in his offense, so it looks better. But Allen Robinson leads the league in end zone targets. And so that's why I say that's what he is because Thielen is that's what you think of is like, oh, they're inside the 10. Watch out for Thielen now.
Yeah. And he always catches it.
I know, but it's like it's a little bit like late Chris Carter. All he does catch touchdowns.
Yes, I totally agree with that.
Okay, so next up we have the Raiders at the Saints.
But Chris Carter's numbers were much better than Adam Thielen's. By the way, if you've never seen Chris Carter's numbers, they are impressive.
Yeah, he's good.
He was amazing.
So we have the Raiders at the Saints. Raiders are negative or -1. Over under at 49. If you're betting on the Raiders, that's -125, and if you're betting on the Saints, plus 105.
I like the Raiders to keep it rolling. I think, like I said last week, they're a team that was 1-4 at the time, and they could have easily been 4-1. Yeah. I think they are going to start rolling now. I think eventually the Raiders will be the second best team in the AFC West.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
Who are the Saints starting at quarterback?
Andy
Saints?
Dalton.
Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton, which I think they're doing by choice at this point. Winston could play if they wanted him to, but they're going with Dalton for the consistency and hopefully less turnovers. And also I think to let Winston heal. I think that's a big part of it too. He's got that back issue going on.
I honestly, as a fan, I would be more inclined to pick the Saints to win this if they started Hill. Over Dalton.
That's funny.
But
that's hilarious. That's it. He's not built to play a full game of quarterback. I don't think. Like it's just not because he's going to make too many mistakes.
Yeah.
Because he's just like I think
Andy Dalton is perfect.
Well, and honestly,
you're comparing him to the other 32 quarterbacks.
I'm just saying Hill is honestly kind of a nice compliment to Dalton. You know what I mean? Dalton's just kind of the guy that kind of gets it down the field, and then
Hill's just a really good football player, man.
Yeah,
he's just
weird,
a really good athlete.
He's just a really good football player. He's like you like to have him on your team, and he's like one of those guys you just figure out how to get him on the field because he's going to help you win.
By the way, this is my third DFS game of the week.
I agree.
Those are the three games.
Yes,
the last three
100%.
we've done in a row.
Yes.
That when you're doing your DFS lineups and stuff, these are the games you should be targeting. There's going to be lots and lots of points.
And start the Saints quarterback, not the Raiders quarterback. Derek Carr just can't finish, man.
But you want to start on Andy Dalton?
Andy Dalton, he threw 3 touchdowns last week.
He's probably
four touchdowns.
He's probably really cheap right now, huh? He's probably hella cheap.
Oh, he
too.
was, yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Raiders are the worst team in the league against quarterbacks.
Cool.
The Saints are at home. I don't think they're actually getting any more of their weapons back. It's still just going to be Olave and the dudes in the receiver core.
Yeah, I think.
I don't think Mike Thomas isn't going to play, and I don't think Jarvis is ready to play either.
Pretty sure they got ruled out.
And so there's that. So Kamara is going to be great again.
Yay.
And yeah, I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to come down.
Feels like it.
Going to come down to the wire. You know who I think is going to be good in this game? Who's probably not getting a lot of action? Is Hunter Renfrow. I think they've been ramping him up, and he looks really good. He made a spectacular sliding catch, where he slid down to catch the ball, and at the end of the action popped up and ran away from the defender that was closest to him. I was like, there you go, that's a good play, and he's Derek Carr's guy. So especially if Darren Waller doesn't play.
Well, and what about Devontae Adams? Devontae looks like he's going to play.
He looks excellent. Oh, he's sick.
That's right. It looks like he's going to play.
A big thing to talk about is Devontae
week.
Adams has been sick with the flu this week.
Yes.
So temper expectations from Devontae Adams.
So if Devontae's out there as more of a decoy, then maybe Hunter Renfrow is the guy this week.
Yes, and I had forgotten about that, but that is one of the reasons I was getting excited about him and Matt Hollins.
Right. Yeah. Holland's a little less.
Mac Hollins played he made another spectacular catch for a touchdown. And he's got confidence right now. Derek Carr has confidence to go to him, because that throw that he made, that was a tight window throw. That's a throw that Derek Carr doesn't typically make, but he would have made it for Darren Waller. But he made it for Mac Hollins, and Mac Hollins, paid him off by making the catch. He looks good. He looks like a monster.
So are we all picking Raiders on this game?
I am picking the Raiders for sure.
Oh man,
He doesn't want to.
I'm actually really torn on this one.
Yeah.
It's one of those that like logic like looks like it's the Raiders, but man, I feel like it's the Saints.
I just don't like anything the Saints are doing right now.
I know.
They just kind of feel like they're going to figure out how to lose.
All right, I'm gonna go Raiders. Sorry.
Well, I mean, I think the Raiders right now are
Sorry,
consistently.
Juan, if you're listening.
I think the Raiders right now are consistently trending upwards, and the Saints are kind of just still on the heartbeat. So yeah.
Yes,
From a safe.
I think the Raiders are building, and like even when they lost that game to the Chiefs, you could see they had confidence in that game. They took some shots, and they were. I think they're a team that walked away from that game thinking we should have beat them. And like we can't wait to see them again. And I think the Raiders are going to be on a roll for a while.
Right on.
Well, give me a second while I find the Patriots. There we are. Okay, so next game up, Patriots at the Jets. Patriots minus 2.5. The over/under at 40. And if you're betting on the Patriots, it's minus 135. And if you're betting on the Jets, plus 115.
Blech. We just talked about 3 offensive games in a row, and now we come to this.
And
Yeah.
and that's what it's going to be. This game's going to be terrible offensively. It
Definitely
is.
looks it.
I mean, can we get can we play taps for a second for Breece Hall?
Yeah,
for
no
the,
shit.
for the
Why?
loss.
Because was he military at any point?
No, it's just like get him a 21 gun salute or something like that. He deserves it.
Oh man, he looks so good. But
And he gave us one last gem. That 60 that touchdown. Oh my god, that touchdown run! Like that was just.
now we'll see him next year.
That who that reminded me of? Adrian Peterson.
Okay.
Because he had on that run, he made he bounced to the outside, made a cut up the field, broke through, had the speed and the burst to break through to get into the secondary, and then just ran right through a shoulder tackle, and then got right back up to top speed to run away from the safety.
Yeah.
I was like, my God, this guy is not fair.
Yep.
And it's sad.
Yep,
It's really
and then a
sad.
quarter later, yeah.
It's really, really sad to watch him go down. And with him, it's really up in the air now what the Jets are going to do.
Yeah.
My move after that happened was to go back and pick up Garrett Wilson all over the place because I just can't imagine how they don't throw the ball more now. They have to. They're going to have to throw the ball more now.
Except that they still have Zach Wilson, right?
Huh?
They still have Zach Wilson.
The numbers over and over and over again right now are not panning out. But every game I watch, I find something that he does where I'm just tickled by.
I love that you're so in love with him.
Yeah.
I find it hilarious.
And so this one
Somebody's got to be.
And so this one this week is. It was 3rd and 3, and he drops back, the pocket breaks down, he rolls out, he runs away from the defender, and he starts to run out of room. And rather than just throw the ball away immediately as he was running out of room, he realized that he had a little bit of time, and so he backpedaled a little bit. And so he used as much of the time that he had before the defenders closed in on him as he possibly could. And then while backpedaling, rifled the ball 25 yards downfield from where he was. And it was it would have had to have been a good catch, but Kelsey makes that catch.
Right.
And it would have been a first down. And so, it turned out it's not a highlight at all that's going to exist anywhere. But I think it probably would have been had the catch been made because it was that impressive of a play. And like I said, he keeps doing things like that where he's his mind is not compromised in compromising situations in the game. And then coupled with that, he has elite talent. The way that what that reminded me of was Aaron Rodgers. That he has he's got juice, man. I like him. I like him a lot. I think he's going to get there. I really do believe that he's going to get there.
We'll see.
And now with Breece Hall being gone, they might have to throw the ball more, and just let him do it. Let him go. Just let him go.
So we all going Jets?
No.
No, I think this is like, I feel bad about it, but I think this is where the ride ends. Like I think their winning streak is 4 games now.
Yep.
And I do think that the Patriots are going to confuse them enough, and with them trying to figure out their new offensive,
I'll own Wolf this game.
offensive
I'll
scheme,
own this
or
game.
like how they're going to break everything down. I think the Patriots are going to get them this
And
week.
just we kind of left out fantasy real quick. I just want to say that
There's no fantasy aspects in this
yes,
game.
there's like you look at the Patriots, you don't want to start anybody. There's a couple of pieces that you could start if you had to, Stevenson, Edwards, but like you don't want to start anybody. And Jets, I think you can say the exact same thing.
Stevenson, you've been riding for a while, so
maybe
it's hard to
Carter
put
you
it's
can
hard to just
start,
put him
but-
back on the bench. And Damian Harris did play on Monday night, and Stevenson still produced more than 20 points. And he, without doing it on the ground, a lot of it was receiving. So like I was saying, like I still think that's going to be there for him. So I still think you start Ramondre Stevenson. I would not start Damian Harris yet. I would like he's on
And
the
would you
shelf
start
until we
Carter?
see. I would start Carter.
Yeah.
because my like I said,
You'll probably have to.
When I say I imagine they have to throw the ball more, they still might not. And if they don't, then Michael Carter is going to touch the ball 15 plus times.
And honestly,
And he's electric.
Michael Carter
like
does look good.
I like him.
the times
I-
that I've seen him touching the ball. He looks so much better this year than he did last.
He's got juice, man, because he looks like he knows where he's going.
Yeah.
Is really what it
Yeah,
is
I
the
agree.
thing. He's a shifty runner. He looks like he's got good vision, and he's got speed. He's very fast. He's just not very big, so he's not somebody like Breece Hall was a guy you could load him up, give him 25 carries.
Right.
You
but
know,
Carter has to
He'll-
share the workload.
yes, and that's why they went out and got James Robinson.
Yeah.
So
Which you don't wanna start.
So them
In case
going
you're wondering.
and getting James Robinson tells me that they're going to continue to try and run the ball a lot,
For sure.
and that's so I would
That's their
start
game
Michael
plan.
Carter. But if you're somebody who if you like, I don't know, if you have a roster spot or something like that, I think Garrett Wilson's interesting again. I think Elijah Moore is interesting again. He's going to play. Corey Davis is hurt, so that's why I think Elijah Moore is interesting. But I do think Garrett Wilson is very interesting.
So keep an eye on those Jets passing receivers just in case, but
Yeah,
not
and-
this week.
And watch Zach Wilson play because it's fun. He's fun to play. He's fun to watch, dude. He is fun to watch.
All right. Sorry about that, Ray. Next game.
So next up we have the Steelers at the Eagles. The Steelers plus 10.5. The over-under at 43.5. And if you're betting on the Steelers, plus 400. And if you're betting on the Eagles, minus 500.
Wow, plus 400. Wow,
Might want to think about betting on the Steelers on this one.
that is some disrespect
with those odds.
Oh, and here,
That's a
let,
lot of disrespect.
and let me say that the Steelers have been playing better. That defense has been playing better.
Yep. Oh yeah, they held.
That
They
Eagles
held the Dolphins
offense
down.
is vulnerable. As good as it has looked at times, like it's still Jalen Hurts back
So,
there.
let me
He's capable of making
Let
some
me
big
tell
mistakes.
you, I actually really like this matchup for the Steelers because the Steelers still have Cam Hayward up front.
Yep.
So I don't think that the Eagles are going to just be able to run the ball the way that they've been able to run the ball so far this year. They've had a lot of success. And if you look at the Dallas game, when they didn't have success running the ball on first and second down, and you put Jalen Hurts in third and long, he struggles. He struggles. He's not. If his first and second read, his quick reads are not open for him, he struggles.
I completely agree.
So I could definitely see the Steelers shutting down their run game and forcing him to pass. Mike Tomlin is an excellent, excellent, excellent defensive coach.
Yep.
So
So the question really comes to whether Pittsburgh can put up enough offense. You know what I mean? Can Pittsburgh put 24
to
points
win the
on
game,
the board?
I do. I think they can. I think Pittsburgh can beat them.
I do too.
But the thing was, we're talking fantasy wise. I think it's important for people to just not think that Pittsburgh is just a auto start your guys against them defense. So people should be tempering their expectations a little bit on guys like Miles Sanders and AJ Brown and
Yep.
and
Najee Harris.
Well, I was just saying the Eagles guys, so Jalen
But
Hurts.
I'm just saying both sides. In
Both
this game,
sides.
honestly,
Yeah. The guy that I'm most excited about, there's two in this game that I would definitely start, and that's Pickens and Freiermuth. I'm starting both of those guys.
Freiermuth for sure. The Muth.
I just think that the Steelers are going to have to throw the ball, and Pickett just really loves to throw the ball to Pickens. That's his guy.
and Muth. I completely agree there. If you're going to start anybody from the Steelers, those are the first two to start. And then on the Eagles side, I mean, just that offense has been rolling. Fantasy wise, it's hard not to start your Eagles.
Agreed.
You're going to have to probably start them, but I'm just saying that they might not have the huge day that everybody's predicting. Everyone's saying that they're just going to
And
roll over the
especially
Steelers,
with the
which
Steelers
could
being
happen.
10.5 point underdogs in their own state.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be, they're going to be fired up.
I agree. And like I said, I wish I could take the points on this game. I'm going to take the Steelers anyway. I mean, obviously they're the long shot. They're 10.5 point dogs. I am going to take my boys here, but I have
So proud of you.
I have reasons to have hope in this game.
I want to join you. I'm not going to,
Right.
but I want to.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to join you. I'm joining you. I'm picking
Are
the
you
Steelers. I'm
really?
picking the
Wow.
Steelers too. Yeah.
Wow.
Because
Ray's got to feel great about that.
everybody
Lone
knows that I hate the Eagles.
Wolf. That's true.
I hate the Eagles.
You
And
know,
and
that's
I do,
being true to Ken. I love you for that.
And I and I do feel good about the Steelers' chances to
Yes.
to win this game. I do. Like we'll see what Nick Sirianni does with the week off to prepare for the Steelers, but they have a rookie quarterback, so I don't think there's much you can do. You know, like there's not a whole lot of tape on him yet. He's still figuring stuff out. He's
Definitely.
still changing from game to game.
And just to say something about him is Pickett does look good. Like I feel like he's got some definite.
He's got juice.
Yeah, he does. And he's definitely learning. He's going to make a lot of mistakes this year.
He's going to look
throw a lot
really
of
good
picks.
losing to Zach Wilson over the next 10 years.
But as a Steeler fan, I like Pickett and I like the future.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. You should.
Yeah.
You should.
So next up, we got Titans at Texans. Ooh, a couple Cowboy games. -3 for the Titans with the over-under at 40.5, 40.5. If you're betting on the Titans, you're at -145, and if you're betting on the Texans, that's +125.
Do you guys remember like 3 weeks ago the Titans were 1-2 and they were playing the Raiders at 1-2 and we
Yep.
were like, this is it was a cornered animal game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember saying like I don't feel like, this Mike Vrabel coach team just completely fell off. I feel like they're going to figure it out. And,
Sure enough.
3 weeks later they're 4-2 playing the Texans.
Yes.
So things are looking much better. Those poor Texans.
They're going to get fucking stomped.
Oh yeah, this week looks bad. Like we were talking about Derrick Henry last week, and he had a decent week. He didn't quite have one of his weeks, but he
And
was
here's
good.
the thing to know, like the important thing to know is that Tennessee offensively has come to the conclusion that they have to ride Derrick Henry.
for sure. Yeah.
And Derrick Henry's bought into it. The offensive coordinator's bought into it. They talked about it during the broadcast in the Colts game. They're going to ride Derrick Henry until the wheels fall off. If they're going to fall off,
And
I don't think
he
they're
is
going to.
gonna
He's just a
look
monster. He just
good
looks
this
like a
week.
monster. And he bullies the Texans already. When the Titans were looking to get other people the ball occasionally, Derrick Henry bullied the Texans. So this sets up as one of those Lucy holding the football for Charlie Brown situations, because it's so easy, right? It's so easy. Like you just got to be able to kick that ball, right? Derrick Henry versus the Texans. And that's the only thing that would keep you from doing it is like, oh, this is too easy. I can't do it. But just do it. Just start.
I was going to say, I
Start
think
Derrick Henry everywhere.
gonna be
I mean,
so
and I'm
good.
not saying, and I'm not even saying like season long. Obviously, in season long, Derrick Henry's auto start. But I'm talking about DFS. Like he's such a good play in DFS this
Yes,
week.
well,
Like
just everywhere this week.
Like he has to be worth it in DFS.
Yep. Which on the
Then
other side means that Pierce might not
Dameon
be as
Pierce
good.
is the real deal.
And I agree.
I
Dameon
remember
Pierce
I told you this
He's
a
better
couple
than I
weeks
thought.
ago. I don't think the game script matters. They were down 24-3
Okay.
to the Chargers and just didn't stop giving him the ball. He also catches the ball out of the backfield.
Okay.
He's just the reason that they're not going to go away from that is because he's just their best playmaker. Like when you actually look when their guys that could have the ball in their hand, he's the best. So they're going to put the ball in his hands. He's the best player they have.
I just think there's a decent chance that he gets the ball 18 times and has 55 yards.
I think there's a decent chance of that too.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have. I think you have
see
to
that
start
kinda
him.
work.
It's just Tennessee, but Tennessee hasn't been that stout.
They looked better last week, and they've been improving as the year goes
better
on.
last week because the Colts, for whatever reason, didn't run the football. But Jonathan Taylor had 10 carries for 60 yards.
Kind of funny, huh? What the heck are they doing?
I told you we talked about this like last week, not to like go too far back, or I guess it's fine. We're talking about the Colts next, so we didn't know what they were going to do, the Colts, and their offense, like when Jonathan Taylor is breaking runs like he was breaking runs last week, give him the ball again.
Right.
Like they were just getting so cute, and
Seems obvious.
They were able to, and I feel bad for Matt Ryan losing his job because he didn't do anything that I haven't seen Derek Carr do his whole goddamn career.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything that I haven't seen Derek Carr like do last week.
Yeah.
So like for him to like lose his job permanently over that game was a little silly. Like
I think that was the owner saying that they had too many wins and like,
honestly
what the
felt
heck are
like-
we doing here? We're
yeah.
trying to get drafted.
We're taking, guys. We're taking. We're gonna get a real quarterback for serious.
Exactly.
But it just looked like I felt like they put him in bad situations. Like they asked Matt Ryan to do things that they should more than they should be asking him to do, especially when Jonathan Taylor is standing behind him.
And so, just real quick in this game, fantasy wise, I mean,
That's it,
honestly,
dude. It's
Tennessee
Dameon,
wise,
it's Dameon Pierce and Dameon Pierce for the Texans. Brandon Cooks maybe,
yes,
but he's questionable.
yeah.
He's kind of hurt. I don't really like it.
And then Derrick Henry on the other side, and that's just what I want to bring up. Is that's really what you're looking at in this game is those three players, and nobody else.
That's it.
So
All
next up we have Washington at the Colts. Washington plus 2.5. The over under at 39.5. If you're betting on the Commanders, you're at plus 125, and if you're betting on the Colts, minus 145.
So disappointed that the Commanders aren't 1-6 because they should be. They should be.
They beat the Packers.
They shouldn't have. That Packers game should have. So it's funny. Like people,
Rodgers is saving himself.
Anybody who believes that
For one more
momentum
season.
is not a thing, watch that Packers Commanders game because the Packers dominated the first like 20 minutes of that game, and then there was a really bad penalty on pick six, the second pick six of the game, and it was going to be the Packers were going to go up 21-3. And instead, the Commanders kept the ball and punched it in.
So now it's 14-10.
Yes, and the game just was completely different. The energy was completely different. The Commanders, like after they scored that touchdown, they were fired up. They played better. They played just tougher on defense. And the Packers weren't like killing them on offense up to that point, but they were moving the ball. And then after that, they just really struggled to do anything the rest of the game. But that good on them for being able to turn it around and take that game from the Packers. And sad times for the Packers, but this game stinks.
Agreed. Another one.
The Colts replacing their quarterback just makes me want to vomit for like fantasy purposes because it's
Fantasy
just, like,
for sure.
Because now you just don't know what to do because like their offensive game plan the last 3 weeks, and even with Jonathan Taylor coming back, was to throw. Now they're switching. They're going to bring Ellinger in. So are they going to throw?
Run.
Or so it could be Jonathan Taylor again. It could be.
Yeah.
or it could just be really bad with them throwing the ball a bunch. And honestly, I kind of see him just like, I kind of see them doing that, like, because they've been making such bad decisions that I kind of see the Colts like going out there and being like, well, this is our offensive philosophy now. We're not going to, we've decided we don't want to run Taylor into the ground. So we're just going to let Sam go out there and wing it. And then like him just like, you know, not knowing where he's going in the pocket and running into, you know, a clothesline or something like that and getting knocked out of the game, and Matt Ryan has to come back anyway.
Maybe, but you know, Ellinger is a running quarterback, right?
I do.
He's a very mobile, very running quarterback.
I know, but he's still
going to
young.
have a lot
But
of runs.
He's still young and like,
I think they're going to run.
you
the
never
crap out of the
know.
ball.
You just never know what a rookie quarterback is going to do. And I don't think he's a rookie. I think he's second year, right?
I don't even know.
I think this is his second year. But you never know what a new starting quarterback is going to do. And I always think of like Sam Darnold against the Patriots on Monday night when he was seeing ghosts.
Yeah.
You know, because they see things and they don't always see exactly what's happening correctly, and so you just never know. And if they ask him to throw the ball that many times against the Commanders,
They won't.
defensive line that is that good, they might have to throw the ball though because they might be behind.
Yeah, but even then, they're going to want to. They're going to be like Atlanta and just want
So
to run the ball. I think.
fantasy wise, I think you starting Jonathan Taylor. I think you're cringe starting Michael Pittman. I think you're really pissed off that Matt Ryan.
you have
is
an
sitting
option on Pittman.
because like if you're somebody who was like going like, yeah, I'm gonna lean. I'm at the point where I want to start Alec Pierce or I want to start Paris Campbell. Now that Sam Ellinger is in there, Ellinger. I've been saying it wrong a bunch of times. Ellinger. Now you can't start those guys. Like you can't start Alec Pierce. You can't start Paris Campbell. As good as Paris Campbell looks, and he looks awesome.
Yeah,
by the
but
way.
Worthless now.
And then on the other side, you got exactly what you wanted out of Heineke because he was throwing to McLaurin when McLaurin was triple covered last week. Like he just doesn't care. Where's Terry? I'm throwing Terry the ball.
Start Terry.
Yeah, so start Terry McLaurin. And then I think Brian Robinson. This is a good game for Brian Robinson.
I wouldn't want him. I wouldn't want to start him if I could help it.
I think we're getting close to the point where you actually can start both, where you can start him and Gibson, because Gibson's he's been super efficient. Like he's still.
No, I agree.
He has been a startable fantasy option all 3 games that Brian Robinson has played. No,
Yeah.
both games. It's only been 2 games. Both games that Brian Robinson has played, he's been a startable fantasy option.
But based on
So-
pure efficiency.
Yes.
And you know what I mean? Like getting the ball on the goal line and like, man, talk about a nervous start.
He's not getting
that,
the.
That will make your butt.
He's
pucker.
not. He's not getting the ball on the goal line. He's getting pass plays designed for him. So he's running real routes.
I thought I saw him on the goal line a couple of times too. They brought him in. It looked like he was the better goal line runner. I thought. But
Brian
I could be
Robinson's that's supposed to be his deal.
wrong.
That's supposed to be where he's good.
I'm not sure.
He's supposed to be
what
the
Brian
power
Robinson's
power
supposed
running
to
back.
do. Like, yeah,
I don't know.
He's not impressing me yet.
Not
so.
yet. But
That's what I'm saying. I
but
wouldn't
he's
want to
getting
start him.
But he's getting a lot of work. Do we go over on that game? Are we?
Yeah, we're way
paused
over
it.
on
Ooh,
that
that's
time.
terrible. I hate to waste time on the Commanders.
We didn't even pick.
Oh
you guys
God,
got?
we have to pick this game. I'm gonna pick the Commanders, and again,
Me too.
I feel gross about it.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm going to pick the Commanders, but I can see the Colts winning this game.
Yeah, for sure. I think we all can, but you know,
this feels
It's
like a
at the
coin flip
Colts.
game.
It's one of those like stadium games.
This,
You know?
yeah, like I said, this
The
feels like
weather's-
one of those games where something stupid could decide the game.
If you were to tell me the weather is going to be terrible
Random turnover.
over there, then I would probably pick the Colts. But I don't
They're
even know what the
indoors.
weather is.
They're indoors.
Colts are indoors.
Yeah,
Oh,
Lucas
that's right, yeah.
Lucas Oil Stadium, bro.
I still probably would pick the Colts if the weather is terrible.
Ooh, sweet game.
So next up, we have San Francisco 49ers at the LA Rams. -1 San Francisco. Over under is 42. If you're betting on the Niners, -115. If you're betting on the Rams, -105.
So no Debo Samuel
No Debo.
this weekend, which makes me sad.
Which is one of the reasons why I feel the Rams are going to take this. This line is a historical line.
Yeah,
It's purely based off of,
what's the line
well, the -1.
for the Rams?
It's -1 for the 49ers.
Real, the Niners are favored.
Yeah. It's a historical thing, right? Because the Rams haven't beat the 49ers and a regular season in 3 years.
Wow.
Going on 4 years.
Vegas is favoring the 49ers in this game with no
Yes, sir.
with no Debo.
Yep.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like the pick. I have a hard time picking the 49ers without Debo. They're just
I think McCaffrey is
they're-
going to be a huge deal this week. I was
He's
playing
still-
him down last week.
He's still just getting started. They have the bye week coming up after this game.
I agree.
So
He's going to be even better, but
okay, the way the NFL works, it's very cyclical, right? And once they get into the season, they're grinding. Like Monday means this, Tuesday means this, Wednesday means this.
I got you.
Right, such and such and such.
Yep.
Right. So even though they've had a week, like I'm sure that he's picked up some more of the offense. I don't expect full Christian McCaffrey until week 10, until they come back from the bye. So
I would agree with that
with
too. But I
D-
think there's going to be a big chunk
with
of McCaffrey in
Debo
this
being
one.
out, my expectation is that Brandon Ayuk will get a bunch of work, and
You're probably not wrong.
because he does a lot of the things that Debo does. He can do them, like
And McCaffrey's going to do a lot of that stuff that he does as well in the backfield and
I'm,
whatnot. you know?
I'm not saying don't start McCaffrey. I'm just
Well, obviously
I'm
not.
just saying I don't like. McCaffrey's going to get a lot of work and it's going to look good fantasy wise.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean the 49ers are going to score touchdowns. Debo is different.
I agree.
He's like
good.
You know, somebody, some page that I follow or something like that shared a video comparing him to Jerry Rice, and it was pretty good. It was compelling. His touchdowns, I didn't remember that about Jerry Rice. I didn't remember how hard he ran. He was such a hard runner. Like he always looked like he was running as hard as he could, and he would just run into people. Like if it meant getting if you were between him and the first down and him in the end zone, he was going to try and run through you. You know.
I think all the players in that generation were harder runners.
Yeah, but Jerry Rice is Debo Samuel's size, where he's 6 foot and Jerry Rice was smaller. He was I think just right at 200 pounds, whereas Debo's 220. So that's a little different. But anyway, he has that kind of ability. Once the ball is in his hand, is that he can score from anywhere. He's done it that many times. There are that many highlights of Debo Samuel scoring that he can score from anywhere.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, so when the 49ers, so not having him on that diminishes your ability to score.
For sure. But they added another superstar, and Kittle is starting to come on. Like you said, Ayuk's going to go in there and take that spot. I think the Niners offense is going to do well. Maybe not what they could with him, with Debo, but I think they're going to do well. And on the Rams side, gosh, man, it's hard. I mean, obviously you're starting Cooper Kupp.
Still waiting on Kyron Williams.
You're starting Cooper Kupp. You might have to start Henderson, but I wouldn't want to in this matchup.
Dude, you can start Ben Skowronek.
I just picked him up.
I know, I saw it. He scored in the last game against the Panthers before the break, before their bye.
I think the Rams are starting to use him as fuck. We need to give the ball to somebody
He's
else.
the security blanket. He's the dump off guy.
So with that, we do have some questions from YouTube.
Cool.
Should I trade CMC? My personal belief is you should just bench him this game and then probably starting.
I
him
would
with
no. I just start him.
I would
there you
too.
Yeah.
I'd start him this game.
I
I was the guy saying not to start him last week, and I'm saying start
His
him
value,
this week.
if anything, right now his value's down, and so you don't want to trade him because I think if anybody who's going to be trying to trade for him is going to be trying to get a deal out of you, rather than being like, I'm paying up for Christian McCaffrey because they have expectations. They might be seeing it as like you're trying to sell.
And honestly, I'd just hold on to
yeah.
him and enjoy the ride.
yeah,
I think it's going to be a fun ride coming up. I would want to have a piece of it.
100% agree. I don't think you're going to get full blown Christian McCaffrey yet in this game, but once after they get past the bye, he's going to get the ball a ton, a ton. But I still think that this is going to be like a 15-ish touch game. I don't think it's going to be 20 plus.
I think it's going to be 15 to 20, and they're going to be more valuable touches than they were last week. Yes, he got up to 10 last week, but if you watch the game, those 10 touches weren't very valuable.
No,
Like, they were.
It was a lot of runs.
Yeah, well, and it was runs up the gut. It was very, very basic stuff, and I think
Yeah.
he's going to have a little bit more on his plate this week. He'll get a few more touches and
I just- yeah.
and some more advanced touches, and I think that's going to start. You're going to like ooh. And then you're right. After the bye week,
bye.
oh my God, it's going to be great.
So the reason why he's asking is because he feels he needs a stud wide receiver, and Sutton and Metcalf are the reason he's on a 2-game losing streak.
Yep.
That's a rough spot to be in. It's hard to say what to do without knowing the rest of your team. But all I would say is that I think Christian McCaffrey.
This is what a busy. So if you remember the lineup from earlier,
I don't.
I think it was Boyd.
Oh yeah, you're going to start Boyd and Olave.
Yeah,
you seem like
honestly,
you seem like you're in good shape this weekend.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with anything this week.
No, those guys are going to come back. You're fine. You don't want to do anything crazy. Like
I totally agree.
I don't know what
keep
your
McCaffrey
I don't know what
and-
your record is, and that's also a big thing. And so real quick, there was a lot of injuries this week. There were a ton of injuries this week, and they hit one of my teams really, really hard. In our league of record, I am the owner of Jamar Chase, Deebo Samuel, and Ezekiel Elliott. So essentially, like with Deebo and Zeke, what's likely going to happen is they're both going to miss this weekend. Then they have the bye next week. So it's essentially they're going to be off for 2 weeks.
Right.
And then Jamar Chase is a candidate for IR, so he could miss 4 to 6 weeks.
Now, just real quick,
so
everything I saw said 4 to 6 weeks, but they said they did not put him on IR. They expect that they might be able to get him
might be
back
a super
week.
fast healer.
Yeah,
I know.
Exactly. Well, seems crazy to me, but got to throw it out there.
I think what's going to happen is it's going to play out this week, and we'll find out next week what they're actually going to do. And they have their bye week in week 10.
Okay.
So next question.
So what I was going to say real quick. We have one other question.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. What's the best flex out of these three? Khalif Raymond, Marquise Goodwin, or James Robinson?
I want to say Robinson, but I don't know what he's going to do. So I'll say Goodwin because DK is hurt, and he showed a connection with Geno last week and scored 2 touchdowns.
Oh, Goodwin, Robinson. Who was the other one?
Khalif Raymond.
Oh my gosh. God, is that a deep league? It feels like you should be able to find something better on the waiver wire.
Yeah, is that like
am I wrong there?
Like a 14-team league. There should be somebody better. Like
It
because
feels
our
like there
league,
should be
our league
something
is
better out
hyper
there.
competitive. Like constantly in our league, we listen to a lot of different podcasts to get information for ourselves, and in constantly people are talking about on other podcasts guys that haven't been available in our league for weeks.
Right.
And I feel like there's nobody that has to start Khalif Raymond.
Yeah.
And we do 3 wide receivers in a flex.
Yeah.
So there's got to be somebody better.
Look for Boyd out there. Look for.
I really like Sammy Watkins this weekend.
Ooh. Okay.
So Alan Lazard could miss the game. Aaron Rodgers has been upset with guys making mistakes, the younger guys making mistakes, and it's a revenge game.
Yeah.
I love revenge games. There's something real there. Like guys do really.
It's a nice narrative.
Guys, they get up for their former teams, the teams that cut them and stuff like that.
And Sammy,
and especially a guy like Sammy Watkins, who's the same age as Stephon Diggs, and like once upon a time,
he looks 10 years older.
Well, he once upon a time was supposed to be the upcoming star in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, sorry, we're not a lot of help there, but I would definitely scour the waiver wire one more time. It feels like there's got to be a better starter out there.
Over Khalif Raymond, I'd rather start Mac Hollins.
Yeah,
this weekend. I'd rather start Rondale Moore, and Rondale Moore is somebody who's in our league hasn't been available all season.
And then what's Wandale Robinson? Right?
Wandale Robinson, if he's
I mean,
still
he
available,
could be
like,
out
he's
there.
probably not available anymore, but if he is, like, he's somebody to pick up and start for sure.
I'm just trying to think of who might be on your waiver wire that you'd want to kind of go after instead of what
Paris
you got.
Campbell,
Well, not anymore.
not this week, but
No, not the rest of the season.
no. I mean, like I said, I'm confident Sam Ellinger is going to get hurt and give the job back to Matt Ryan.
Okay, well, if Matt Ryan
Ain't
comes back-
going. Matty Ice ain't going out like that. All right.
All
I'm
right.
just telling you. I'm telling you. Matty Ice ain't going out like that.
All right. Hopefully that helped a little
He
bit,
ain't
brother.
no punk.
So back to the Niners-Rams game. Who are you guys picking?
I hate to do this to you, brother, but I'm going to take the Niners.
No Debo, no Niner pick for me. I'll take the Rams at home.
I don't have to
and
pick
it's
this game by
for me, it
myself.
really is all about Debo, because I really think that offense is just so limited without him.
All right.
So next up, we have the New York Giants.
The 6-1,
Seahawks.
the 6-1 New York Giants against the 4-3 Seahawks, coming off smashing the Chargers.
So-
They pounded the Chargers.
Yep.
So the Giants are +3. The over/under is at 44.5. If you're betting on the Giants, that's +135, and you're betting on the Seahawks, -155.
I think the first thing you got to do is bring up injuries. Seahawks, we've got DJ Metcalf out, which is huge.
And Tyler Lockett's
and
still hurt.
Tyler Lockett is still hurt coming
So
back
that's
from that
another good Marquise
hamstring.
Goodwin.
He is not 100%. And Goodwin, okay, so if Goodwin is your number one target, like,
just
granted, he's going to get some
It
targets.
pumps him up a little bit more. I'm not saying he's going to.
Sorry, just back to our old listener.
There.
Yeah, you're probably going to take Goodwin out of those choices because he is going to get the targets. But man, I don't have a lot of faith in that kind of talent.
He's more talented than you.
Sure. That says nothing, but
He's more talented than you.
So we're talking about a man's talent like he ain't got no talent, like he's got some talent.
hey, anyone in the NFL, I give mad props to. But,
all right, there it is. Go on.
But this is fantasy, sir, and so I am going to disparage
so this guy
these amazing
sucks.
athletes. Yes. Seahawks, I think they're going to take a downgrade this week. I think that losing those receivers is going to be huge for them. I mean, obviously, you're starting Walker, but I would temper my expectations this week. I hate to say that because I have him everywhere and I love that guy, but I think that that's going to be their offense, and I think the Giants are going to be able to key off of him.
Dude, you can't stop Kenneth Walker.
I hope you're
Have
right.
you watched?
No, he looks great. He looks great. But even like last week, he
Man.
was bottled up. I want to say he was like 14 for 60 or something, and then he broke
For
the
a
long
while.
one.
You can bottle him up for a while.
I
Much
completely
like-
hope you're right.
Barry Sanders. No, and it's not respectful to compare people to Barry Sanders, but and no, I've never seen another running back look anything like Barry Sanders.
Right.
It's like he's one of a kind for sure. But Kenneth Walker has some like lightning fast and powerful cuts. Like,
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he could fight in the phone booth.
And then on the other side, you've got Barkley, who is looking amazing. So you've got probably two of the
know. I'm
top
sick. I know.
5 running backs in the NFL playing in this game. You know.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it for that reason. Like, I really want to watch this game. I don't want to pick it. I hate picking this game because I'm starting to like watching both teams. I was killing Daniel Jones at the beginning of the season, and that's because like when I watch Daniel Jones, I see a player who has all the tools, right? And then he just like
Trips on the turf and lands and
Yes, that is just that up until the last few weeks, that has been the story of Daniel Jones. Is that basically that breakaway run in Philadelphia where he tripped over the grass, The last few weeks he looks like an NFL quarterback.
yeah,
Like-
Giants are talking about re-signing him now.
He looks like an NFL
Yeah.
quarterback, dude. Like I kind of want to trade for him in Dynasty. Like he looks legit, and if they've got a real offensive mind in Brian Dable, He's got the best running back in football in Saquon Barkley. They're going to start putting weapons around him. Like the Giants could start to look really, really good.
Yeah.
You know,
And I'll tell you what,
that
for the
NFC East is starting to look really fun.
I think this might be the first time this year, but I'm going to take the Giants, which means they're going to lose.
And I'll take the Seahawks at home. So
There you go.
So I'll pick against you.
Ray?
He's
Ray's
not going to
going
pick
for
the
the
Seahawks.
Giants,
He's a
yeah.
Rams fan.
Well, I kind of was on the Seahawks bandwagon there for a while. I don't remember the first couple of weeks, but I am picking the Giants.
So,
But Seahawks at home, that's going to be tough, even for the Giants. But
yeah.
I'm a believer in the Giants now. I mean, we said that a few weeks ago. Like, if they're going to come in and they're going to be.
it's going to be a 17-16 game. Enjoy.
This one?
Seattle and Giants.
Oh yeah. I agree.
Okay, new game.
So next up, we have the Green Bay Packers at Buffalo Bills. Green Bay plus 11. The over under at 47. Green Bay Packers plus 380 if you're betting on them, and minus 475 if you're betting on the Bills.
Has an Aaron Rodgers led team ever been plus 11?
No.
Ever.
It's the first time.
hilarious.
It's the first time in his career that he has been a double-digit underdog.
Wow.
The first time in his career.
Kind of awesome. That's great.
Yeah, it's time for him to leave the Packers. It was time for him to leave the Packers 3 or 4 seasons ago.
They just re-signed him.
You know
He's
what?
not going
I know.
anywhere.
I know,
Wait,
but
so-
that's
But every
weird thing.
Doesn't
week
make you wrong, right?
something
Yeah.
comes out now because people are constantly asking him about his future. And Aaron Rodgers is, he doesn't just ignore things. He'll answer you with whatever happens to be on his mind. And it is really starting to remind me of the end of the Brett Favre era
Yeah.
in Green Bay. And it's so funny to me. Because if you remember, for years, Brett Favre teased the Packers with this could be the last year. If do you remember there were a couple years, not one, but two, I think, 2 years, the last game of the season, they celebrated him like it was his last game. And then he came back.
See, I remember that happening when he was like playing for other teams, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go one more year," and like,
But he did that to the Packers for like 3 years.
so he retired like 6 times.
Yes. Brett Favre has retired more than anybody in history.
yeah, I believe you there.
I think if the Packers if Aaron Rodgers decided to leave this season, he still got a good 5 years somewhere else.
Aaron Rodgers still looks great when I watch him throw. He looks frustrated. He looks tired. He looks like he doesn't have energy because he's like,
He's playing for a team,
he
the
look-
only team that has a board running everything.
He looks like
You know what I mean? So he's got to get to a team that can cut through all that red tape.
the
one
babysitter who's
person.
ready for a new job.
The babes.
Because he looks just irritated all the time.
Yeah.
And like I think that he would benefit from just being in a new situation.
Yep.
Where like he could come in and it wouldn't be expected of him to be the pillar of the organization where everybody looks to you and like learn from Aaron.
But this is all hypothetical now. He's just signed a 3-year contract. He's not going anywhere.
That means
He's
anything,
retiring.
dude.
in
That
Green
doesn't
Bay.
mean anything. I'm pretty sure Russell Wilson signed the last deal he was ever going to sign in Seattle.
I mean, all it takes is somebody else to pick up that contract.
in 2019.
All it takes is somebody else to pick up
whatever.
the contract as well.
So this game here, I mean, Bills are going to smash. I think Green Bay is trying to figure things out and can't yet. Aaron Rodgers has no weapons, as I've been harping on all year
Alan
long.
Lazard might miss the game. We talked about this a little bit earlier,
Makes
but
it even worse.
yeah, so it just doesn't look great for Green Bay. It is really, really, really hard to pick Green Bay.
Yeah.
That being said, like
Oh, please pick him.
I'm not going to pick Green Bay.
I was like, do it.
Aaron Rodgers is so good.
Do
that,
it.
Eventually, like it's so. What's happening when I'm watching these games is that guys are dropping key passes
Oh, for sure.
over
Yeah,
and over and
no,
over again.
there's no doubt.
Guys are dropping key passes. Guys are running wrong routes. I think eventually it's gonna click. I do feel that way. And even if it doesn't, and even if it's not like something where it's like, oh, it clicks and now they're off to the races. like it could click for one game.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because like he's got guys that are getting open. They're just missed opportunities in every single game. I'm not going to pick them to win this game.
I just love that you have Aaron Rodgers stashed on your bench.
I'm not
just
gonna-
hoping that he's going to turn it on someday.
No, I mean I have to, one of my choice this week is like, do I, because I've been sitting on Aaron Rodgers, you know, with the plan to just start him this 1 week, and I was never expecting great things from him. Like I would have been fine if I had traded him by now, but also would have been fine for me to just start him. But I might choose to go with Andy Dalton instead of Aaron Rodgers, which feels
yep.
terrible.
Yes, it
that
does.
feels terrible.
Welcome to my world, sir.
But
Been doing it all year.
but no, I really do think that even if it doesn't turn into like a full season, the rest of season, you know, of boom games, like Aaron Rodgers is going to have his game.
Yeah, he will.
Like
he will.
just like Brady. Brady's gonna have his game. Like they don't look diminished. It seems like circumstance is keeping them from scoring, and it's interesting because when you listen to other media outlets, man, they're not allowed to do that. They're Aaron Rodgers. They're Tom Brady. They're too good. Like they're
Yeah.
too good. This can't happen to them. You know,
And I
It's
will
like
say the one
they're still
argument for that.
they're one man in a team sport.
Agreed. But the one argument for that is look what Mahomes is doing.
Look what-
Mahomes
but look what
is
he-
in
but
a
look
very
what-
similar
but look-
situation.
Bullshit. Look at
No?
no, absolutely fucking not. He's not in a. Are you kidding me?
Look
like
what he's got
I'm
around
so
him,
mad that
man.
you said that. I'm so mad that you said that. Like, okay, stop. Okay, Mahomes, just in the last 2 years, has had his offensive line rebuilt with former All Pros that
Okay.
they stole away from other teams, and has had his receiver core completely rebuilt. And whether you like, they didn't go and trade for Devontae Adams, but Juju once upon a time was a like number 1 overall dynasty draft pick. Okay, and not that long ago, he's
Okay,
25.
I know people had it wrong,
Like so,
and I love
like,
Juju.
so he has weapons everywhere. Like yes, absolutely.
He has mediocre weapons.
They're not
everywhere.
mediocre weapons. That's not fair.
Name one good weapon he
Okay,
has.
I'm not. If you want to talk about name one good dynasty weapon that he has, the only one that he has is Travis Kelce, dynasty wise. But all of those guys are weapons. Like to say that they're not, that's crazy. Juju is a technician. He's a really good route runner. Mecole Hardman and MVS just are burners. They blow the top off of defenses.
So
Like,
maybe I put it slightly incorrectly. Maybe I should.
and then he's got Andy Reid, the mad scientist,
Oh.
like working it all. And Andy Reid is like, and I love talking about Andy Reid now because like he was in Philadelphia for so long, and it's just frustrated the hell out of me watching him do it year after year after year with the Eagles, with guys named like Todd Pinkston. So I don't want to hear I don't want to hear that. Hold on, I don't want to hear that Mahomes doesn't have weapons because this is like this blows out of the water anything other than like the 1 year with Terrell Owens that Donovan McNabb ever had in Philadelphia, and they made it work every year. They had a top 10 offense every single year. Like Patrick Mahomes is not in the same situation. He is in a golden situation.
I completely disagree with that. And what I would say is that maybe I misspoke in that I'm saying that what Mahomes is this year, what Kansas City is this year, is what Green Bay was hoping to be. This is what they thought they could be because they had Aaron Rodgers as this
I don't
amazing
think
quarterback
that either.
that they could get by with mediocre
No.
weapons around him.
I disagree
because he's so good.
Even if we go back to go back to draft time, like people have been questioning the decision making by the Packers front office for Aaron Rodgers' weapons all the way back to then.
Yeah, for sure.
The same has not been true over in Kansas City. They were
Until
like,
this year.
Huh? No, I'm talking about just this year. I'm only talking about this year.
Okay.
I'm only talking about this year. And so the Packers trade Devontae Adams. Okay? Nobody freaks out. Not yet. Because
I did.
the offseason happens. You can bring in new guys. You can draft a stud receiver. There's lots of different things that can happen. But nobody was freaking out yet. Then draft season happens, and you've gone through the free agency period. They didn't make a splash in free agency, and they didn't really make a splash in the draft because there were six or seven wide receivers drafted in front of Christian Watson. So they really didn't try hard, and in anybody's eyes, to give Aaron Rodgers good targets this year. I don't think anybody said that about Patrick Mahomes. People had questions, but they were like, I think people were excited about multiple Patrick Mahomes targets this year. Whether you were an MVS guy or you were a Mecole Hardman guy or you were a Juju guy.
Sucks. Okay.
No.
I'm just saying, like, we have completely different views of the situation because MVS is trash. MVS is absolute trash.
I am so
Juju
happy.
is okay.
I am so happy you guys are so like on the opposite ends of this.
So,
like, I'm just listening to him going, what are you talking about?
Argue.
you're okay. Well, Juju's having a really good year. So,
Because of who's throwing to him.
Yes, because of who's throwing to him, but he's also a decent receiver, and you don't.
And
think,
I said he's okay. He's
you
decent.
don't think that
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers would rather have MVS, Mecole Hardman, or Juju over the guys he's throwing to right now?
But see, Watson has higher draft capital. Like Watson,
That'll be
is
great
supposed to
3
be-
years from now. I'm talking about this year, bro.
Okay.
I'm talking about this year. That's why I don't think that they are comparable, because the Packers invested into the future of their receiver core.
when their quarterback is right now.
But their quarterback's 39 years old.
Hilarious, yes.
Yes, it's hilariously stupid.
All right,
And
let's
then,
leave it at that because we agree.
Because honestly, okay, hold on. Before we leave it, what I would last like to say is that I think those two organizations probably should have done the inverse of each other. The Chiefs could have afforded to invest in a bunch of draft pick receivers,
Right.
and just see what Mahomes does with them because
Yes.
he's got time. And then Aaron Rodgers, no, just give him some
give him
guys.
something, yes.
Yes, because right now Aaron Rodgers is his biggest problem is that Randall Cobb is hurt.
Which is funny as
How
hell.
sad is that? Come on, man, you got to do better for Aaron Rodgers than that. That
All
is
right.
crazy.
And I just want to sum this up by saying I have been complaining about the Aaron Rodgers weapons all year long, and you've been defending him. I'm just gonna
No.
I've been right on this.
No.
one.
I've been saying I believe they're going to get there, and there are flashes of, and like I said, there are flashes of talent.
Yeah, I agree.
I do really like Romeo Doubs. I think he's going to be good.
Even after last week, he looked bad last week.
He drops players get over
dropped
the
like 4 balls.
Players get over it. Players get over stuff like that.
Let's hope.
But the thing,
But can Aaron Rodgers get over it?
he gets open. That's the thing, is he gets open.
right.
That's the thing.
We'll see if he can catch it. All right, we got to get moving here.
We only got one more game, right?
We
then
have,
we got
well,
some
first of
DFS
all, do
pictures.
we all go Bills on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 2 more games. Next one up is the Bengals at the Browns. The Bengals is -3 with the over/under 45. This is at the Browns, by the way. And then money line is -170 if you're betting on the Bengals, and +145 if you're betting on the Browns.
And Jamar Chase owners are sad.
-3.
So
What's that about? -3? You playing against the Browns? What's going on there?
Well, Browns are at home. It's a division game, and Jamar Chase is hurt. So I think those are the 3 factors that involve the lower point total. So people just aren't expecting as many points to come out of this game. I think the Bengals offense is still going to look good here. I think they might do it in a slightly different way, but
I think they're going to go back to try and pound the rock.
yeah, I think there's going to be more of it.
The
for
reason
sure.
that they've looked good the last couple of weeks, and we didn't talk about this enough going into last week's game, is because they flipped it. What they're doing, they just decided to start letting Joe Burrow throw the ball again. They're letting Joe cook.
Yeah.
And Joe cooks a much finer meal than Russ. So I am concerned that they're not going to continue to allow him to just throw the ball, and I think they should. I think that they should let him find the guys. Don't get too worried that you
I'd
lost
like to
your
think it's going
weapon.
to be a little bit in between. I think they're going to, go a little bit more towards running, but not all the way because
We're gonna
they've
watch.
seen what
This is
Burrow
Monday
can do.
night,
He's
so
looked
we're gonna watch this game and be texting you guys, and like if I'm gonna be watching how many times they're 1st and 10 and they just hand the ball to Mixon.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna be watching for. That'll be concerning.
Yeah.
They let Joe throw the ball because Joe Mixon has been incredibly inefficient this year. Yeah. Incredibly inefficient. Let Joe throw the ball. Someone changed their name in our dynasty league. The Joe Rogan or Joe Burrow owner changed their name to the Joe Throgan experience. And I love that one.
Nice.
Got to give a shout out for that. That one made me laugh out loud.
Yeah, I like it.
And yes, and so and the reason I bring that up is let him throw.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
I want to see the Joe Throgan experience every single week. Let Joe Burrow just get back there and throw. Joe Mixon, get rid of that guy. Just let Joe Burrow throw the ball. That's what we want to see.
And on the other side, you've got Cleveland.
Nobody wants to see that.
No, Chubb has been amazing. Like there's a lot
Yeah,
of
but
Chubb owners very happy to see Chubby work, man. Like
That's it.
God, that guy
That's
looks
it.
good when
He's
he's got
awesome.
the ball. He looks so
Rams
good.
might take up Hunt.
You know what's really interesting too is like he's a spectacular running back, and like he's like shades of Jim Brown because he's got power, quickness.
Yeah, he's a
speed.
different kind of runner, but yeah.
like I think they're like I've watched a lot of Jim Brown highlights, and that was what was special about him is he was like that Adrian Peterson, like he had all of it. He
had everything.
power, burst, speed, vision, like all of it. And the thing that Adrian Peterson didn't have, that Jim Brown and Nick Chubb both have, is the cuts, the ability to change direction, and in traffic, he's got those monster legs.
Yeah.
And Jim Brown looked like that too. But that's what I was going to say is it's like Jim Brown was the only thing to watch though on those teams,
Yeah.
on those Cleveland Brown teams, like. And that's the same thing with Nick Chubb right now.
Right
It's
now
like
you've got
this
Chubb
like
and you've got
trash
Cooper.
offense, and you've got Nick Chubb
And Cooper. Cooper's been consistent. and doing
Hey,
well.
you know I love Amari Cooper. And you know. Oh, so I got to say this. I think I said this probably like week 2, when Amari coming off a really bad game in week 1, and we were talking about Amari Cooper, and I was like, and everybody, Peoples Jones had all the targets, and I was like, I don't know why he got all the targets. Amari Cooper was open like on every play, and I think they're going to figure that out. Like Amari Cooper's he's such a good route runner. To me, he's one of the best route runners in the NFL, and that got brought up recently in a telecast. I was like, yes,
Thank
he
you.
is. Yeah. Because he is. Amari Cooper is top 10 route runner in the league. He's open.
Okay.
He's open all the
So
time.
I think we brought everything
miss
up
him in
on
Dallas.
this fantasy wise.
Real quick, that's why Dallas's offense is worse.
Is what?
Because they
Cooper.
got rid of Cooper.
Because they don't have
Gotcha.
Amari Cooper.
So we all picking Bengals in this?
Yeah, I'm picking the Bengals. They're
Yeah, yeah.
I like
Yeah.
I like the Bengals even without Jamar Chase. I think the Bengals are just gonna like the Raiders. I like both of those teams honestly. I just like the makeup of both of those teams. I think they have what you need to win games and go far.
So next up, we have the Eagles at the Texans. The Eagles -9.
I kind of want to pick the Eagles to lose twice on our show tonight.
The over under at 43 and -425 if you're betting
too
on the
concerned with,
Eagles, and minus plus 340
some
if
fun
you're
with
betting
your
on the
picks.
Texans. Are you? First of all, are you going to bet against the Eagles in this?
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Are you going?
I said we're all going to take the Eagles. The Eagles are going to roll. There's not really much to talk about here.
We don't. Yeah, the fantasy prospects it's too far in advance to really talk about.
Right, and they're the same.
But it's important. The important thing to know is that Houston sucks against the run. They just suck against the run. The Eagles love to run the football.
Yep.
That's their offense.
what they do.
Jalen Hurts is a quarterback, and he's producing a lot of fantasy points, and that makes people think that he passes the ball, but he doesn't. He leads the league in goal line carries from the quarterback position. That's what they do. They run the football.
Yes, they
and
do.
the Texans suck at stopping the run. They just do.
Oh, I thought you were just going to say sucks.
See, I know. I was gonna say like
No, they got Damian Pierce. They
Yeah,
don't. They don't just suck anymore. They have Damian Pierce.
They suck.
No, watch Damian Pierce. He's fun.
That guy is good,
He's really
but-
good.
Texans suck. Damian Pierce. Okay.
Like I
I'm
traded
gonna
him.
agree with that.
I traded him away in Dynasty, and I brought back Alec Pierce and a draft pick, and like the deal also involved Zeke, so it was kind of me like making a charge for this season because I feel like my team has a chance to win this season, like kind of. But
Hey, let me ask you guys.
I really feel bad about trading him away because he was such a steal. He was the gem of my Josh Allen trade.
There's an episode of The King of the Hill.
Oh, God.
Where they're talking about going watch the Texans practice, and they're like, we could root for the Texans and the Cowboys, like they're both Texas teams, and the only time that would ever be a conflict is if they ever face each
Super
other in the
Bowl.
Super Bowl. And Hank goes, "Thy will be done."
So he's now a Texans fan and a Cowboys fan.
So
That's awesome. I forgot that about Hank. He's a huge Cowboys fan.
So my question to you guys is, do you think in our lifetime we'll see a Texans Cowboys Super Bowl?
An all Texas Super Bowl.
No, the Cowboys will never make it there.
Thanks for saying that, dude. Now they're gonna do it this year. And so seriously, like after, okay. Who do you
I'm gonna
think-
take a timeout on this.
Yeah, we're done with. So
Yeah, we're done with that game.
Okay.
That
Yeah,
game
we're
is
in overtime
garbage.
now. Anybody who's listening, like if you've got questions, like
So then we're all picking the Eagles, right?
yeah,
So-
we're picking Eagles.
We're about to do our DFS
Oh yeah,
lineups,
let's
so
do.
don't
Let's,
forget that.
Let's do
But-
DFS, and then we can break into talking about the other stuff, like random stuff. So, I owe a shot for being 1 point.
The loser.
I like that actually. I like that it was within 1 point.
Right on. Right on.
I will, I will take my shot happily,
All right. Well,
losing by 1 point.
since
Yeah.
I'm starting to get on a
No,
roll
I
here.
lost. I looked it up and I was like, wait a minute, that's the exact same score. When I inputted it here, I was like, that's the exact same score I scored last week. And then I looked it up. I was like, oh shoot, I actually only scored 110.8.
Yeah, it is
I did the wrong screenshot.
Ah, here's your shot, buddy.
Enjoy.
Fuck.
Awesome.
So that
All
was
right.
mine.
Well, and I'm on a roll here. I've won the last 2 weeks.
Therefore, you should lead off.
and I'm going to go ahead and lead off with it because I
I
feel like winning the third in a row here.
yeah.
So let me make sure I got my right lineup here.
Are we doing tournament first or cash first?
Cash first. Cash is the one that matters. Our tournament is just kind of for fun. So, all right. So
Our tournament is just us like throwing stuff at the wall so that we can eventually, invest in a real studio.
So here we go. Cash lineup. And I am going to start with a not so cash player. At quarterback, I am going with Ellinger. At $4,000. Oh my god! I thought the absolute minimum for quarterback was 5,000.
I thought so,
That's
too.
the lowest I'd ever
That's
seen.
funny.
And then I go on there, it's 4,000. I was like, well, crap, man.
I gotta
Like,
start. That's funny.
he's got to score what 8 points to be worth it. Yeah, and he's a running quarterback. You know what I mean? So he's gonna get yardage. I feel like he's got a 6 to 8 point floor. You know what I mean? Like his ceiling is probably only 14
I'm sorry,
to 16.
but a 6 to 8 point, like I feel like he's got a 6 to 8 point floor. Is like that's like something that you would sell somebody on in a non PPR flex.
But yet for 4,000, you're like, hey. So anyway, that opens up my entire lineup, so that way I can really kind of have some star players going on.
Let's see where you went.
So if Ellinger can get just 15 to 20, I'd be thrilled. And if he can at least get 10 to 12, that'll work for me. Running backs, Derrick Henry is going to smash. So of
Hamburglar.
course, yeah,
He's
I'm
gonna go
putting him in my
hamburger.
lineup. And I love Raheem Mostert. I think Mostert's going to have a really good week this week against Detroit. And for only $5,900, I think he's underpriced.
Way underpriced.
Love him there. At wide receiver, I've got Hopkins. I think Hopkins is going to be, like say, Arizona's going to be behind.
Target monster.
And, yeah, he's just going to get targeted in that game.
14 targets in his first game.
Yep. And then Olave is just, he's, again, target monster, like another high-scoring game, which Olave is their best target, and Olave has been looking good doing it. So it's hard to go against him there. And I'll go for one more target monster as my other wide receiver. I can't even say his first name, but St. Brown.
Amon St. Brown.
Amon Ross. Yeah.
ARSB.
Yes, thank you. But St. Brown,
That's what we're calling
he's
him now,
going
by
to
the
get
way.
peppered with targets. He's back from his concussion. He's in a high-scoring game against Miami. Just absolutely. Oh, and the Miami backfield or the defensive backs are decimated for Miami. So just
All
one
year
more
they
thing.
have been, actually.
Yeah.
Sad.
So something
It's
else to throw
unfortunate
out
for
there.
them.
So hence my Goff in a lot of my lineups and St. Brown as well. My tight end that I've been talking about is Big Irv Smith. Got to go with him. He's going to be great against that Arizona D. My flex, Deontay Foreman is just going to get the ball a ton of times, and he's only 5,300.
Yeah,
So
strong
I
play.
think he's great in cash. I'd probably stay away from him in the tournament lineups because I don't know how high his ceiling is yet. But as far as a floor and as far as cash play, I really like him. And then for my my defense, I went with the Bears against Dallas. Now the biggest thing here is that the Bears are dirt cheap. Like when I go for defenses, I usually take the bottom 6 defenses and see which one can I make work, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. But I will say that the Dallas offense has looked shaky. It's looked shaky for a
Even if
couple
they don't
of
look
weeks now.
shaky, they look like they're not willing to like be explosive.
Exactly.
They're not-
And
they're not
Zeke's
trying to be
out. I don't know
explosive.
how Pollard's going to do. Like, I just think that there's some possibilities there. Like I say, we picked the games. I don't think Chicago's going to win, but I do think the Chicago defense could have some nice plays and put up some points and be worth their $2,400 price tag. So that is my cash lineup that should win again. Go ahead.
Confident man over there with the Sam Ellinger start.
I like it. I like it.
All right, so to lead off, and it's funny because I was listening intently while you were like, so I'm going to start with a non-winner at quarterback. I really for a second, I thought you were going to have the same quarterback as me, and I'm going to start Andy Dalton.
Oh, okay.
The Raiders have just been god-awful. They made Davis Mills look like an all-pro quarterback last week. Yeah, so I don't want to get too far into the weeds on that one. I paired him with Chris Olave, so we've got a little bit of a crossover. We're starting some of the same guys. At running back at $8,400. By the way, Andy Dalton was $5,500, so he's also a really good deal.
Yes.
Derrick Henry, obviously, like you just like how do you not start Derrick Henry? this week?
Agreed.
Like how do you not?
Even his price tag at 8,300 isn't bad for him, you know?
Because of the savings at quarterback and at another place that we're going to get to in a minute, I was also able to stay up and spend up on Jonathan Taylor. So, because
okay.
I do believe that the Colts are going to go back to running the ball with Jonathan Taylor. I think they would just really be stupid not to do
Yeah,
that.
I don't think that's a secret. It's just, are they going to be able to
And he
handle
looked
8
awesome
men in the box?
He did
That's
look
the
he
thing.
did look
Yeah.
awesome last week. He looks like he's ready to go. At receiver, my receivers are cheaper, but I went with guys that I expect to get a bunch of targets and do some work. I said earlier, I think it's DJ Moore season. I think we finally got there. So if you've been holding on all year long like I have and just believing that eventually DJ Moore was going to get work, you're getting paid off now. $5,300
Yeah,
for
it's too cheap.
DJ Moore.
I almost put him in
The
mine.
Falcons are the worst defense against receivers in football. I think this is I think this is DJ Moore hasn't had a highlight yet this year. I think this is a game where he gets one. And it could be like a 65-yard, touchdown where he catches a hitch and runs away. It could be a spectacular, long touchdown catch, but I think this is the one. I think he's going to go over 100 yards and a touchdown in this game.
All right.
I also have Chris Olave, like I said, at $6,000. He's too good not to start. How he's only $6,000, I don't know. He's been the number one wide receiver for New Orleans all year long. like even the games that Michael Thomas was available for, Olave beat him out in targets. And he's leading the NFL in air yards still. So Chris Olave, 6,000.
Absolutely.
At $4,700. This will also be eventually too cheap as George Pickens.
Oh, yes, yes.
They're going to be behind against the Eagles, I think. That's my expectation. Like earlier, like I did pick the Steelers to beat the Eagles, but that would just be like that'd be wonderful if that happened. The expectation is really that the Eagles will be in front in that game, and Pickett loves to throw the ball to Pickens. At tight end, completely agree with my buddy over here. $3,500 for Irv Smith is just it's too good. It's too good at this point. Like I feel like DraftKings, instead of just like pricing the players, they should be like Irv Smith should be $7,000 this week because he's playing against Arizona. Like Arizona's been that bad against tight ends.
Yeah,
like when
you're right.
a team is that bad against a position group, like it should affect the DraftKings price, and it just like they're not there yet. That's not what they do. Everything is based on what the player has actually done. So $3,500 for Irv Smith is just like it's got to be the play of the week
For sure.
for tight end. At flex, another carryover or crossover is Raheem Mostert at $5,900. He's just too good. And then defense, I actually feel like I found a steal. At $2,600, the Commanders seem like a really good start this week. Sam, you don't know what you're going to get from Sam Ehlinger. It's his first start. The Commanders just came off of playing a really good game against Aaron Rodgers. They're pumped up. They're on a winning streak, kind of.
If I wasn't starting Ellinger, then that would have been my defense. So
You can't
it's
really
one or
do
the
that.
other.
So that is my cash lineup, and I had $100 left over.
All right.
What? My turn.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Let's hear from the first place lineup.
I'm actually tied now with. No, I'm not. Oh wow.
You still
Okay.
have more wins than anybody else, brother.
So starting off, I've got Kirk Cousins at $6,100, and then I got Mostert at running back for Miami. Pollard, because I don't think Zeke's going to get much action, at $6,100. Philadelphia, I got Brown. And then, like all of you guys, I've got Olave as well at New Orleans. And then I went ahead and picked up Smith for the Philadelphia Eagles. And then because they just
So you're going to
need
start
throw
A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith?
I'm sorry, what?
So you're going to start A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stacking against them Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And then at tight end, I picked up Higbee because he's just been getting work.
He's been great. Yeah.
Yep.
Higbee's
And then-
been great.
I believe the Detroit and Miami game is going to be high scoring. So for my flex, I picked up Reynolds. And then I said it earlier. I just think this is the Rams' game. This is going to be the breakthrough game. So I went ahead and picked
Rams
their
D?
defense.
And they were cheap. I think they were like $2,700.
Yep.
For the defense.
Very cheap.
Yeah,
And-
so like I could have. It's funny. I wanted to play them too. Yeah. Anyway,
So I'll snake it, and we'll go ahead and go with my tournament lineup. Going with the Miami versus Detroit game for my tournament lineup, and I got the quarterback Miami.
Tua?
Yeah. So Tua, and then I have Edmonds for my running back. Swift also for my running back for Detroit. Hill.
how much was Edmonds?
Edmonds was $5,100,
Okay.
and then I picked Swift, and then I have Hill.
I swear to okay. Can we pause real quick?
Sure.
So Edmonds hasn't really been getting much work, but I really want your lineup to work out. Like it'd be so funny to me, like if this is the game where Mostert breaks, he gets hurt, and if they have to plug Edmonds in, and he beats us because of Edmonds.
$5,100.
It would be so funny to me.
Yeah.
Go on.
So Reynolds at Detroit, and then I went ahead and just to fill a receiver spot, 4,100 Skoranek from the Rams,
It's not a bad play, dude.
and then Hawkinson for Detroit's tight end, and then Waddle for my flex, and then again with the Rams as my defense.
All right.
Yeah, the Rams $2,700 with no Debo. That Rams defense becomes a really strong play. I think that's a really good one. I actually might pivot my cash one because I have $100 and I can switch to that one.
There you go.
And I like
So
it better.
Back to you, Kim.
So my tournament lineup actually has a lot of your cash lineup guys in it. So I'm stacking from the Arizona Minnesota game, and I'm gonna have Kirk Cousins. I'm gonna stack him with Adam Thielen for $6,200 at wide receiver, and Irv Smith again at tight end because it's too good. We're gonna stack back against them with DeAndre Hopkins at $7,400, and then my final receiver is Amon-Ra St. Brown at $6,900.
Yep.
My running backs are Raheem Mostert at $5,900, Tony Pollard at $6,100, and then my flex is Deontay Foreman at $5,300, and then at $2,600 we've got the Washington Commanders defense, and that is a 100% spending of the budget.
All right. And I will say that I love my cash lineup, and I'm looking at my my tournament lineup, and it's actually very similar in a lot of it's got some crossover because I just feel like there's some super strong plays this week that it's hard to get away from. But I will say that, man, this is a lot riskier lineup. I like my cash way better. Okay. But
Tournaments are supposed to be that way, though.
yeah, that's true. And yeah, you're not supposed to feel real good about that tournament lineup.
You're supposed to be like, yeah, man, if this one hits, it's going to
if
be
it goes off.
awesome.
Exactly. And so I went with Ellinger again.
I'm done with you. I need to call an Uber. I'm not even riding home with you, dude.
Oh, man.
I can't believe
I
you.
had so much fun making the cash lineup with Ellinger. It opened up so much that I'm just like, I got to go with it. It felt great. So went with Derrick Henry again because, my God, Derrick Henry is amazing and going to be great this week. I went with Alvin Kamara. I think that New Orleans.
Are you
Vegas
trying
game,
to curse your
think
league
that-
of record lineup? Or?
I think that New Orleans Vegas game is going to be good, and so I put some a little bit of a stack in here. I've got Kamara on one side, and I've got Hunter Renfrow on the other.
That's spicy.
I was going to say we were talking about Hunter
much
Renfrow
was Hunter
earlier. 4,900.
Oh, that's
49.
He
so.
should be less.
Yeah, I agree. I was
Based on what
actually
he's
going
done
to
so
put.
far this year, he's 4,900 based on
Right.
name recognition.
So if this was my cash lineup, I probably would have put
like,
Pickens in there
based-
instead.
Based on the last month, there's no reason why Alec Pierce is 4,600 and
Renfro
he's
49.
49.
Yeah.
That
No,
should be
it's
swapped.
silly.
for
I
sure.
agree. But like I say,
DraftKings is silly.
he's one of those guys that, like I say, I'd rather have Pickens in my lineup, but because it's a tournament lineup, because I'm stacking back the games, I think this is the more tournament friendly lineup. So I did go with Renfro. My other wide receivers, I went with Hopkins again because I just see monster targets there, and that Arizona Minnesota game is going to be juicy.
It really did not look like Kyler Murray had confidence in throwing the ball anywhere else.
Yep, I agree. And so on the other side of that game, I'm going to go with Adam Thielen. Again, we talked about that earlier. The number 2 wide receiver against Arizona tends to do amazing. I
We've
expect
talked about this before.
at
man.
least one touchdown, and honestly, I'm
the number
hoping
2
for
wide
two,
receiver,
two
they,
plus.
They can lock down your number 1, but your tight end, your number 2.
Yep. They have one amazing cornerback, and then after that, they just have crap. So, and then I went with Irv Smith again. So I've got 2 Minnesota
not to.
Vikings on that side. And along with
And then you have a second.
Cardinal on the
So
other.
I did that as well, and I forgot to bring that up. So I'm glad that we got there on your lineup. So he has a primary stack and a secondary stack,
Right.
and my lineup had that as well. I just didn't bring it up. The secondary stack on my lineup is Raheem Mostert for the Dolphins, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown
Yep.
for the Lions. So you've got a running back on one side with a really good matchup, and then you've got a receiver on the other side with a really good matchup. So
I'd love to do it, yeah.
So like if it works like it's supposed to, the running back should have a good day, and then force the receiver to have a good day.
That's the
And
idea.
and
That's the theory.
And so when you're putting a tournament lineup together, that's how you boom the hardest, and that's how you win.
Exactly.
And it could
You're
also leave
going
you
for that big one.
and it could also leave you with scoring 75 points.
Yep. You're going to have a lot of those kind of lineups
Yeah,
when you're
it
going to
happens.
tournament.
It
Yeah.
happens.
My flex, I fit Pollard in here.
Yeah, you know
Honestly,
what?
I don't feel
Talk
great
about
about
that.
that
Talk
one,
about
but
that a little bit, won't you?
yeah, but for 6,100 at that price in the
It's too
flex,
good.
It's good, and you know he's going to be getting the ball. You know the Chicago defense is not great, especially against the run. So, I went for it on that one, which is
There was a prediction, a bold prediction I made on one of the, I don't know, probably somebody's Twitter or something like that. One of those, put your bold predictions in for the season. And one of them that I put in was I Zeke and Pollard both scoring 10 touchdowns. And they both have 4 right now. This is a game where Pollard could score twice.
Yeah, I agree. He totally could. So for that chance, I'm threw him in there on the flex. And then my defense, if you notice my lineup, I've got no Eagles in my lineup. And Eagles are just one of the top projected scorers for the week. I think a lot of people are going to have at least one Eagle in their lineup.
You're going to play the Steelers defense.
So I'm going to go with the Steelers defense since I'm not putting
Way
any
to be a
Eagles in my
true
lineup.
homer, buddy.
No Eagles in my lineup. So if the Eagles have a rough day,
Hey, dude, the Steelers are going to win on Sunday, bro.
I'm telling you.
I'm with it. I picked them. I'm with it. I'm into it.
The Steelers are only 2,400. They're
hope they
going to
do,
get
but I
some
don't think it's gonna
sacks.
happen.
They're going to get some points, and who knows? Maybe they'll get lucky.
The battle for Pennsylvania is a real deal.
Yeah,
It's
a thing.
So to me, I think it is kind of it's almost like a division battle, throw the records out type of thing. That's the way that I'm looking at this game. Like I think it's important to both teams.
For sure.
That's the Rams every year. Rams and Niners. Like it doesn't matter what that record is.
It's like so.
That's true.
Well, the Rams and 49ers are in the same division, so they see each other every year, no matter what. What I would liken it to is like the 49ers versus the Raiders when the Raiders were still in Oakland.
Yeah,
because
like-
that didn't
like
make any sense.
Battle of the Bays,
but but it was a rivalry. Every time they got together, the fan bases were ravenous, and I think that's what's going to happen here in the Pittsburgh. Philadelphia game is that it's gonna be wild, like it's gonna be loud in that game. Like there's gonna be a lot of Steelers fans there.
Yeah, probably 30%.
Yeah.
So at this-
if not more, 30%. That's being conservative. I
Well,
think.
just because the Eagles are doing well this year, that's why.
But
I'm
Eagles
saying
fans
that.
are not very smart, so they're probably poor and can't afford tickets.
Well, what was your Twitter handle again?
Hey, you can find me at Mr. Goodbet on Twitter and at Ken Against the Clock on Instagram if you've got a problem with what I say about you stupid Eagles fans.
Oh, take it to him. Take it to him. He'd
Hilarious.
love to fight with you guys on
Enjoy
Twitter.
your 6-0. Enjoy your 6-0. This
Oh,
is the hot-
and with Elon Musk now running Twitter, like none of that stuff's gonna get banned anyway. So you guys,
I can say whatever I want.
Just to fight it out.
Did we get somebody? Did we get a question or something? Oh, I thought I saw
You
thought
did.
I saw something move up there.
You did. Wadabeezy wants to throw a comment out there. I have Irvin Smith replacing Kelsey for this week.
Yeah, good call.
Well done,
That's a
sir.
good call.
Well done.
Okay,
Wadabeezy, I really like your team and the way you're running it, man. I got to say,
You're
like,
doing a good job, buddy.
yep, keep listening, man. Aaron. We'll get you there.
Or he'll get us
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I was going
Or
to say
at
we're
least-
taking the credit.
At least
but-
you.
So just to kind of let you guys know, we were drinking Hornitos tequila. You can get this bottle at tequila Costco. Just a FYI, regular guys drinking regular tequila. You can find it at Costco. You want to throw that beer out?
Yeah, we're drinking the Hops of Wrath
Back it up a little bit.
by Dust Bowl.
Oh yeah, so that's our IPA of the night, and then just some
one more.
Budweiser beer too.
Don't forget the black box.
The black box. Okay, this thing is impressive. Like, so you can find this at Walmart. It's like
$18.
it's like $18. This thing's like 4 bottles of wine, and it's good.
It's good wine.
It's good
It's
wine.
good wine, yeah.
Like
Lasts.
me and my girlfriend, we like to drink wine, so we have a wine fridge, and we go through a lot of wine bottles, and I'm super impressed by
Dude.
that.
You know
Like,
what?
It is some tasty wine.
Black box wine is so underrated.
It is.
It really
super
is.
underrated.
Get yourself a nice decanter to pour that stuff in on dinner.
Be
when you have
fancy.
guests.
Nobody will know the
No
difference,
one
huh?
knows. They'll be
Yep.
like, "Ooh, what is this delicious wine? Oh, that's a 74
Yeah.
feet."
Went deep into my cellar for that one.
just disappear for a while and then bring back the decanter.
Yeah.
And none the wiser.
So, I remember we were talking about something. We were talking about I wanted to bring back something after we were done talking about everything, but now I don't remember what it was.
Was it football related?
It was football related. I feel like it had to do with the Cowboys, but That could be
No.
because I'm a Cowboy fan.
So it should be a good Sunday, right? You get 4 games if you only watch one at a time.
You get to. I honestly love the London Sundays. I'm just like I'm a football junkie, I guess. But it's
we need more.
I love that I wake up and football's already happening.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I vacationed in Hawaii one year, right? And that's a 3-hour time difference. So when I woke up at 6:30 in the morning,
Yeah,
games were already
yes.
starting
Yep.
because it's a 3-hour time difference. So I got to like watch nature and watch football at the same time. It was just
know-
amazing.
That sounds
Like
great.
football is huge. NFL football is huge in Australia. Excuse me. And they have to get up at like 2 in the morning to watch football on Sunday.
Wow.
They're committed.
That's dedication.
They are committed. Yes. Like that's
I see.
yeah.
Oi, oi, oi.
One guy knew it. I once upon a time I used to game a lot. Whenever I used to pair up with a Australian guy, if you say Aussie, it's like it's ingrained in them to
say
have to go
oi,
hoi
oi,
hoi hoi. So
Oi,
it would be
oi.
funny because I would do it like randomly, and they'd be like, "Okay, that's enough." They go hoi hoi hoi. Okay, that's enough. Like
Start.
Stop making me do that.
Stop.
Yeah. I have to, but I don't want to anymore.
Yeah.
But if you do it again, I will.
Right.
Wadabizi, my opponent has Hertz, Barkley, Monster, Mozart. I said Monster.
That's rough.
Mozart, Hill, St. Brown, and Jonathan Taylor. So wish me luck.
Yeah, good luck.
And like I
buddy.
said, we said
Hey.
over and over we like your lineup, but man,
and-
you've got a tough opponent
And
this
so
week.
in our league of record, I don't know if you caught this earlier, but in our league of record, I lost Jamar Chase, Debo Samuel, and Ezekiel Elliott this week. So I feel you. I
Yeah.
feel you. Like it's going to be a tough. And my opponent,
We don't feel sorry for Ken.
no, he doesn't because I'm whooping his ass. But
Here I come.
his team looks solid. But we'll see if it's fantasy football. Like it could always be it could be too late.
I know.
Anyway, my opponent has like Steven's a good drafter. He's a really good drafter. Show me your TDs. He puts together good teams. He's always loaded at running back, and he's got Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Swift, and Travis Etienne starting against me this weekend. And and on his bench, he's got Dobbins, Cordero Patterson, and he picked up Khalil Herbert this week. So like that team,
Herbert was on the wire? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
yeah, he paid for him. He paid like $7 for him in Fab.
Still.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where like we just talked about this. It's like Damian Harris, and Ramondre Stevenson. So it's not like I'm like, ooh, he picked up Khalil Herbert. I should have had that guy.
Yeah.
But I am, on my side, I've got Damian Pierce and Ezekiel Elliott and
I know. Sorry.
Line.
I had Gus Edwards as my number 4 running back going into this week, and I was just like, oh yeah, Gus is going to do great this week, and I'm going to be able to trade him. I'm going to get a new quarterback or a new tight end. It's going to be awesome. And then Gus gets hurt again. I was just like, God.
So
Still got Brian Robinson.
Yeah, I know, but the Robinson doesn't have the trade value yet until he starts doing something.
And real quick, before, well, actually, I guess even after, what would you be interested in a trade for Jamar Chase? Like, you trade away Keenan Allen and Brian Robinson for Jamar Chase?
Would I personally? No.
No.
Because I am 3-4 and have to win. Now, if I was sitting at 6-1 and was looking at the playoffs, would I look at that trade? Yeah, I'd look at that trade hard.
Okay, so I'm glad.
But right now,
thank you for putting
I
it that
just
way.
can't do
Because
it.
that's exactly what I'm thinking. Why I'm bringing that up is like, so a lot of stuff is happening right now, and in my on my lineup in our league of record in particular, I'm 5-2 though.
Right.
If I was 3-4, or if I was 2-5, something like that, I would feel pressured to sell him,
For sure.
to try and sell him for something.
Because you have to win now.
Because you have to win now. But if you're like if you're in a good position, like I happen to be in a good position at 5-2, I don't feel the
Yeah.
need to sell players.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna write it out. Wait for him to get back.
Yeah, because you can get 1 or 2 wins and get into the playoffs, and then hopefully Chase is back and doing great.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you guys, and this
What do
is
you
one
got?
of those fun things. All right, this is my personal question,
Okay.
and it's one of those fun things that we should do. At this point in time, what are your Super Bowl predictions? Who is going to the Super Bowl?
Whew, that's a good question. Hold on, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and think about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't even thought about that. Actually, did we just get a question? Whoa, whoa, whoa! Watch the wires.
Actually,
brother.
we did. We did get a question. Good eye, man.
Yeah, I thought I
Thank
saw
you. I could
something move
use
over there.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, freaking A. But we'll wait for Ken to come back before we answer that question. What do you think? What are your Super Bowl predictions?
Man, honestly, that's just something I haven't put a lot of thought into yet. I mean, obviously Philly's the obvious choice on the NFC side. They're looking strong. They're looking great. They just added a new defensive piece. It's hard to pick against them, especially in the NFC, because there's just nothing over there. AFC side is a lot harder. Gosh, who do I like there? I mean, Buffalo is great. They look like a super team. I think the Chiefs are right there again. I think they're going to meet in the playoffs again, and it's going to be an amazing game. Is there anybody else that can challenge in the AFC? I'm not feeling it right now.
I could see a Chiefs Bills game wherever it ends up in the tournament lineup. I could see the winner of that team being the team that goes to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. What about the NFC side?
Like I say, beyond the Eagles, I really just can't pick. I'm trying to look. I'm looking at the teams right now, going, okay, what's another NFC team that I really like? And there's just nobody. I mean, I do admit the Cowboys' defense is incredible, and if they can get their offense going, then maybe they can put a challenge towards Philly. But I mean, is there another NFC team to challenge other than those two? I don't see it.
Wouldn't Ken love that? Wouldn't
Dude,
Ken
I
love?
I didn't like saying it.
Wouldn't Ken love a Cowboys Eagles playoff game to go to the Super Bowl? What do you think, Ken? Who is the NFC team?
What
In the Super
my
Bowl
first
this year.
thought is the Cowboys pummeled the Eagles a bunch of times on their way to the '90s Super Bowls, so that would be fantastic.
I was gonna say, what does that have to do with anything? Come on, man.
That was last century.
right.
It was, but
That's 2 decades ago.
the Cowboys and Eagles do have a history of having swells like this where both teams are good and making playoff runs and both being contenders, because they did it in the late 70s and early 80s as well. But you look at it right now, and who else would you pick? The Cowboys, and I think the Cowboys and Eagles are obviously the best two teams in the NFC.
That's what I was just saying. I can't. I'm looking at all the
Like,
teams going.
So
don't know
I would
who else.
imagine you, as a homer, would pick the Cowboys.
I have confidence the Cowboys will be.
Okay, so what about the AFC side?
I can't wait to see Mahomes versus Josh Allen again.
That's what I just
We
said.
were just talking about that.
That's
Yeah.
what I just said. Is it's going to come down to those two
And-
again.
And I just I never get tired of rooting for Josh Allen. Josh
Yeah.
Allen's my guy. He's he is the most fun football player to watch.
That is a
today.
game that I really, really want to see, but really don't want to pick. Because my God, when Buffalo and Casey face off,
I've been
in the
I've
playoffs,
been a
man,
fanboy of Josh Allen for a while, so it's easy. So it's easy. Like for me, it's almost like picking the Cowboys. It's like
Yeah.
even the times where I don't necessarily 100% believe that he's going to win, it's easier for me to go, like, I got your back, Josh. We're going to win this. We're going to win this. And so I'm in on the Bills. Like I think that I picked the Bills to go to the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year. On the other side, I had picked the 49ers. That was before Trey Lance got hurt. That was with me believing that the 49ers were going to become something different on offense. They were going to unlock a new level of potency.
but now with McCaffrey, they
offense.
might do that. They might do that
But
with
it's still
McCaffrey.
Jimmy G. It's still
We'll see. We'll see.
They still got to figure out.
I'm
quarterback.
sorry.
They got a chance.
I'm
They
sorry,
got a
babe,
chance.
if you're listening. My girlfriend, if she's listening, but it's like Jimmy G. Like he just makes bad plays. Like, he makes Kirk Cousins like plays.
I hear
He
you.
makes like those Tony Romo, famous, famous plays that just like decide games and build his legacy in the wrong direction.
So what was our last question there?
So our last question is Etienne, Sutton, or Algier for flex?
It's ETN,
ETN.
not even close.
Okay. And the next comment was Mahomes versus Allen rivalry is going to be the new Brady versus Manning.
It is.
And
I missed
every
that.
time it
Brady-
happens, you're just
yeah.
like, oh, I can't wait to watch that game.
You know what? I knew that growing up, or not like I should, because I was in my early 20s. When Brady and Manning were doing their thing every year, when it was
Yeah.
like they'd get together in like week 8, and they were both 7-0, 6-1 every
Yep.
single year for like 5 years or something like that. Like I knew at that time that like I was being treated to to
something
like
special,
to
yeah.
something special that like there's nothing else like it. And it's like, so to have a comment like that, to have somebody go, Brady Mahomes is like, or excuse me, Mahomes and Allen is like Brady and Manning. It's like, yeah, that's right. That's how rare it is that like a matchup comes around like that, where like you have two teams with two special quarterbacks and they're going to keep clashing for a while. And that's what it looks like. It looks like the Bills and Chiefs are destined to fight each other for like the next 3 or 4 years. We hope.
Yeah, I like it.
And yeah,
Makes for some great games.
Enjoy it because this is like
Absolutely.
this. I agree 100%. That Mahomes versus Allen is Brady versus Manning in this era.
So that's it. I think we're all caught up.
Yeah.
Ken, you want to close this out with some plugs?
Man, I'm just plugging myself these days. You can find me at Ken Against the Clock on Instagram, on IG, or you can find me at Mr. Goodbet on Twitter. And my name is Ken Bailey if you want to find me on Facebook. And anytime people want to talk about fantasy football, I love talking about football all the time, every day, all day.
There you go.
And I'm Clouded Jester on all platforms.
And I still don't do social media.
And
so-
Brian has a physical address, so if you'd like to write him a
you want to
letter,
send me some mail?
he'll get back to you in 6 to 8 weeks.
Right?
So we'll see you guys all on week 9. Hopefully we helped you guys out. Talk
Yeah.
to you guys later.
Crush
Thanks
it, guys.
for joining us. Love it.